tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Cuey. H2.0. Yeah. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear. Welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must. This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought. Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me envy. Unleash the dragon. Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
Coming to you live. The nation is on edge tonight. We're tracking 3 massive stories that are shaking the foundation of the country. In Minneapolis, the fallout from the fatal encounter between ICE and 37-year-old Renee Nicole. Good has reached a fever pitch while the Department of Homeland Security calls it domestic terrorism. Local leaders are calling it bullshit. Meanwhile, the highest court in the land is preparing to hand down a ruling that could dismantle the president's entire tariff strategy. We're talking about a $200 billion reversal that could change the economy overnight. And in a shock to the digital world, Vivek has officially logged off, fleeing his own base. After a wave of internal friction, you want the truth, you're in the right place, don't blink. We're going deep. Let's get into it. Emergency. The world's on fire. Yo, Minneapolis in mourning, a mother's life is gone. Renee Nicole good, now the battle's being drawn. DHS is whispering, they're shocked at the response. The official line is terror, but the footage says it once. It's all on tape. The narrative is split, the tension's getting thick. DHS inside and say the cover-up is sick. Protests on the pavement, yeah, the city's getting lit. Burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it. Locked in, the truth is under fire. The gavel's coming down and the stakes are getting higher. From the streets to the court, we're breaking down the cage. Welcome to the live, turn the final page. Let's go. To the ghetto, the SCOTUS on the move. The terror war is cool and Trump got something to prove. 200 billion on the line and justice is so cold. Well, they got the whole system, yeah, the story's being told. Then we look at Vivek, the man just hit delete. Ran off social media, couldn't handle all the heat. Backlash from his own base, a digital civil war. He's offline, ghost, he ain't posting anymore. Offline. They try to hide the facts, they try to mute the noise. But the chat is wide awake and we're finding back our voice. Back our voice, back our voice, back our voice, back our voice. The truth is under fire. The gavel's coming down and the stakes are getting higher. From the streets to the court, we're breaking down the cage. Welcome to the live, turn the final page. Let's go. direct. Facts. Don't believe the hype. We direct. We direct. Right.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another another video. Y'all know we got to get into some more of these updates and whatnot, what's going on in the political sector. You know, that's how we do over here. And so we got a few things that I want to talk about with you guys this afternoon. I hope everybody is having a great afternoon. It's about 2:09 p.m. here Eastern time in the United States and the Carolinas. And it's pretty decent weather outside today. It's kind of, nice. Not too cold, not too hot. But I hope you guys are having an excellent day, whatever respectful time zone you are in, whether it's morning, night, afternoon, or evening. But yes, let's go ahead and get into some of the synopsis of what we will be talking about on this live today. Of course, per usual, I do have some things that I want to show you and allow you to listen to when it comes to these reports. But if you have not seen, if you do not watch the news, but I know a lot of y'all that come and join me, we watch it, y'all, together. And so there has been a tragedy in the Minneapolis area. The Minneapolis incident, and there's some DHS internal conflict as well. So we'll have to talk about the escalating situation in Minneapolis following the fatal encounter involving 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good and federal agents. This is a massive divide in the narrative. While leadership is labeling the situation as an act of domestic aggression, behind the scenes, apparently, DHS insiders are reportedly expressing shock at the department's public handling of the event. Bystander footage has emerged that complicates the official story, with the FBI taking over the investigation. The tension between local and federal authorities is at an all-time high. We're watching to see if this internal DHS friction leads to more whistleblowers coming forward. Then we'll pivot over into talking a little bit about the Supreme Court and the tariff challenge. Trump administration economic cornerstone is under fire. The Supreme Court is hearing a case that could effectively dismantle the president's ability to bypass Congress for global tariffs. The justices are questioning if the emergency powers used were an overreach. If the court rules against the administration, it could trigger a $200 billion refund to major corporations. This would be a massive setback for the America First trade policy. And even the conservative justices seem to be leaning toward a ruling that would limit executive power in this area. And also, y'all, I came across some reports that Vivek Ramaswamy has departed social media. Finally, Vivek Ramaswamy has finally gone dark on social media, deleting his apps after what many are calling a digital civil war. Despite being one of the most active voices in the movement, he stepped away, citing a toxic environment. It appears he's been facing significant internal pushback and personal attacks from within his own base over recent policy stances. It's a major turning point when a leading candidate for a governor feels he has to leave the very platform that built his political career just to escape the negativity of his own supporters. So y'all, we're going to go ahead and get into this. Per usual, y'all know I got some videos and stuff to play. So we're going to take a news report first. So let's go ahead and get into this DHS. We'll start off there and we'll move our way down. So let's go ahead and find out what the reports are saying about DHS officials privately expressing their shock over the department's response to this tragedy that happened in Minneapolis, that is wrapped around ICE unaliving with a pow pow. You know, we got to speak in child language because we can't say certain things here on YouTube, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get this video up on the screen and listen to some of these reports. So just for a quick synopsis here, we do have multiple departments at Homeland Security officials privately expressed shock Wednesday over the department's immediate response to the fatal pow pow of a woman, an innocent woman, by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, seeking it as a break from precedent that generally points to investigation before reaching a firm conclusion. This is CNN reporting on this with Priscilla Alvarez. Let's get into it, y'all.
Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, without any evidence at all, accuses this 37-year-old mother of three who just dropped off her kid at school of being part of a domestic terrorism operation and cites her as a domestic terrorist.
Right, and everyone we've spoken to, Wolf, experts, law enforcement officials, those who used to work at ICE, say it's simply too early in the investigation based on what we know, based on what we've seen, to make any sort of claim like that.
Yeah, ridiculous claim. And we have some new CNN reporting that we're about to share with you. Multiple Department of Homeland Security officials are privately expressing shock over the department's immediate response to the shooting.
CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins us now. So you've been talking to your sources within the agency, and it's different. It's interesting to see how Tom Homan has been handling this as it compares to Kristi Noem. Tell us more about what you're learning.
Well, and Tom Homan being the White House border czar who took a more measured response when he, in an interview with CBS, where he said he didn't have all of the evidence yet, for all the reasons that you two just walked through in terms of the Homeland Security Secretary's statement and press conference, where she called this an act of domestic terrorism, where she said that this woman was trying to, quote, run over the law enforcement agents. There was so much shock among Homeland Security officials over all of that, because typically the precedent is that you don't get ahead of the investigation, that you say there's an investigation ongoing and you don't draw firm conclusions. So I was getting multiple messages about just the sheer surprise that the Department of Homeland Security would reach that conclusion so quickly, only a few hours actually after the shooting, and reiterate that later on in the day during that press conference. Now, the officials I've spoken with also caution that they don't know all of the set of circumstances here, and that they stress that there does need to be an investigation. But what they have seen in the videos doesn't seem to align with the training. The secretary said that the training was followed, but typically, for example, ICE officers wouldn't get in front of a vehicle, which appears to have happened here with this officer. In fact, they are trained to form what is called, quote, a tactical L, to that 90-degree angle, to avoid being in front of the vehicle and to avoid injury. So it's these little maneuvers that are made that Homeland Security officials I've been speaking with say have called into question the conduct of this officer. I want to reiterate, however, we don't know a lot about this officer yet. The secretary said that he is, quote, experienced. But I will also add that in my sourcing calls, I have also been told that when the hundreds of agents arrived to Minneapolis and Minnesota in recent days, they did have extensive briefings about the possibility of protesters and agitators. So this is something that prior to this incident, they had been aware of could happen. They had been told that if it got violent, they were to call local police for backup. I'm also told that in those briefings, they were told not to engage if people were just yelling. So certainly there were agents who, coming into this assignment from all over the country, including places like Florida, California, Georgia, had been advised that there could be protesters, but were given some level of guidance as to how to deal with that. Lastly, I will say the officer, that we don't know much about him, He had been hospitalized and discharged. According to my sources, that would be typical in an incident like this. And he would also typically be put on administrative leave. I've asked the Department of Homeland Security if that is the case, and they have not responded yet.
And just to be clear, ICE agents aren't required to wear body cameras,
That's right.
And so do we have any indication whether they...
We don't
have
know
the
if
video?
they had the body cameras on in this particular case. In the Minneapolis region, they are not required to have those body cameras on, according to a law enforcement source that I spoke with. So we'll see if any of them did, but certainly they are not required across the board.
All right, Priscilla Alvarez, thank you so much.
And joining us now to discuss what's going on, CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams. By the way, he's a former assistant director for legislative affairs over at ICE, knows the issue very well. He's a former federal prosecutor as well. Also joining us, Jason Armstrong, retired Ferguson, Missouri police chief. He faced a very similar situation in his town after the 2014 police killing of Michael Brown. To both of you, thanks very much for joining us. And Jason, let me start with you. There are multiple angles showing this shooting. You've seen the video, presumably in slow motion, regular motion, several times. What's your take and what do you see in the video?
What I see in the video is it looks like that there's some vehicles that leave that area prior to the incident happening. They drive past the vehicle, the individual that was shot and killed by the agent. They drive past the vehicle while it's stopped in the roadway. So, we're hearing reports that they were blocking the roadway, but I see vehicles leave beforehand. Then you see the one vehicle pull up and the two agents get out and approach the vehicle. The agent that actually did the shooting comes from the other side. And one of the primary questions, that I would be interested in knowing in this is if the driver saw that individual in front of the car because she was engaged with the agents that were at her window. And when the vehicle pulls off, these situations unfold very fast and quickly. And it was unfortunate that the agent was in front of the vehicle. One of the things that we are really emphasizing in law enforcement is the tactics of de-escalation. And one of the things that we try to do is not put
all right, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm sitting here, my foot is tapping because, they're doing, really good reporting or whatnot. But like I say, for the respect of the family, because this woman, unfortunately, has now children that are without a mother. And so I didn't want to play the raw footage. I know this news reports on CNN are playing some of the footage, but it's more raw than this because there's footage that was captured by individuals on cell phones and so on and so forth. And so if you watch that footage, you can clearly see that that woman was not attempting to roll over any of these ICE agents, whether in reverse or when she accelerated forward. None of them were in front of the vehicle or directly in back of the vehicle at the time where the vehicle was in motion in both of those directions. What you can see are the agents running up to the driver's side of the vehicle, trying to actually get this woman and pull this woman out of the vehicle. And she refused to get out because there's no reason for her to do so. She didn't do anything wrong. And what she was trying to do at the time is just leave. That's it. Just go. Just leave. Because what we have to do a lot of the times is leave, flee. So these type of things do not happen. So we don't end up no longer with us, right? Sometimes you got to get up out of there when you know that there's an opposing threat coming for you for whatever reason they feel as though they see fit. And one of the things that I also want to point out is when people take the snapshots of photos. One of the photos that I just seen was a photo of the windshield in the front of the vehicle that clearly has a pow hole in it. And with that pow hole, based off of the narrative that these people would like to speak on or tell, they would allude to the fact that she was moving forward in the vehicle, about to hit an ICE agent with the vehicle, and they took a shot to her vehicle. And so this is why there's a pow hole in the front of her windshield. That is untrue. If you watch the raw video, they shot or they pow-powed into her vehicle from, let's just say, the driver's side. And that pow hole was made from the inside out, not from the outside in. And so I know that a lot of people, when they want to spin this type of narrative, if they play this footage or they put these type of videos out with that, even that pow hole in the windshield of the vehicle, that can make it allude to the fact that she was going to be driving front on into an ICE agent and they took a shot front on to protect themselves. That is not what happened. So despite where that pow hole is placed on the windshield of the vehicle, I just hope people will watch the actual footage and take all of that into account. And they have been. There's a lot of people that have been, and they've seen what really went down. And thanks to technology, people that actually care out in the streets and having cell phones and cameras to record on cell phones when certain agents and police officers do not have the cams on or are not even, required to have cams, we can take the raw footage ourselves and show the truth of the matter and bear witness to what really happened. And so I've watched the raw footage and I've seen exactly how everything went down. And there was no ICE agent that she was going to reverse into, and there was no ICE agent that she could accelerate into. They all were coming at her from the side to the driver's side of the window and door of her vehicle. And they took the shots from there. And that pow shot that they took, which was 3 of them, that unfortunately have unalived this woman. One of them penetrate the windshield from the outside in, from the inside out, not the outside in. And so I can see how these people try to spin pictures, narratives, stories, and all of those said things. And if you look at it with raw eyes and already a made up mind, you may assume that's what went down. But when you see the raw footage, you will know and see that is not how it went down. Anyway, I just wanted to insert that. Let's get back into the reporting.
Officers, agents in front of vehicles, especially vehicles that are in motion, to try to avoid situations like this from happening.
There's a lot of serious questions raised by this video and the different videos we've seen of the angles, no doubt. There's still a lot of nuance here, though, and facts that we just don't know. But listen to what Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, said not long after the shooting.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers.
Not long after, the mayor came out and said that narrative from the federal officials like Kristi Noem was BS. But how can you make such quick judgments either way so soon after this happened?
You absolutely cannot, Pam. Have we not learned anything in the last decade of trying to unpack whether police-involved shootings or even individual ones between people? There are a host of complicated questions over the reasonableness of the fear of the person shooting in an action that certainly can't be unpacked from looking at a video. I will say, setting aside sort of the nonsense that came from the Secretary of Homeland Security today or yesterday, the smartest comments, I think, came from Tom Homan, the border czar for the White House, who is known as somewhat of a hardliner on immigration and somebody I worked with for years at ICE. Tom was clear that we can't rush to judgment when looking at a video. Why? Because he's actually a law enforcement officer and did this for decades and years and knows that it is incredibly risky on either side to look at a video and try to unpack it as if we really know.
Let me just follow up on that and get your thoughts, because that the Secretary of Homeland Security immediately described this woman, Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3 who was driving along, as a domestic terrorist. Right. That this was a domestic terrorist operation against ICE. What was your reaction?
That's very strong language, for lack of a better way to put it, Wolf. In order to refer to someone as a domestic terrorist, she's necessarily saying that the actions were taken deliberately to intimidate or coerce a civilian population, or to make a statement, to use a violent act as a means of making a political statement. That's a pretty broad claim about, about an individual that you really don't know what statement she's made, what writings she has made. Has she attempted other acts before? It's a sweeping claim, and it's entirely plausible. I'm not saying it's true, but entirely plausible based on the video that this individual may not have had a political motive in driving the vehicle. And so, yes, even if the facts might say that she acted with some violent intent, there's no way you can look at this individual right now, based on what's publicly available, and make a claim of domestic terrorism.
I think she had just dropped off her 6-year-old kid at school and was driving back home.
Look,
There's a
terrorists.
lot of- right, her ex-husband said that,
Yeah.
and then we've also found out through our reporting, but she was there 3 minutes before as well. I mean, there's
Right.
just a lot. There's a lot we don't know. But Mike, just to follow up on what Jason said, he made the point that ICE officer came up and tried to open that door, right? And there is a scenario in which she's looking at the ICE officer, not understanding that another ICE officer stepped in front of the vehicle. If an ICE officer puts themselves, or law enforcement agency puts himself in a position like that, staying in front of a moving vehicle, but then also has reasonable fear for their life, how do you look at that from a legal standpoint?
You, with your legal education, Pam, have touched on the very nature of a factual dispute, and there isn't been factual question as to all of these matters. Yes, an individual, a law enforcement officer, or any one of us might have put themselves in harm's way, but also been the, I guess, the recipient of a violent act. And I think it's for ultimately judges and juries to conclude at some point, did this person invite this trouble, or was the aggressor, or pardon me, who was the aggressor or perpetrator here? And I just think, from looking at a video as we sit here, we are not equipped to really make definitive conclusions about any of those things.
Yeah.
Now again, this all comes in the backdrop of tempers flaring in Minneapolis. It comes in the backdrop of a political climate around immigration that is very fraught, both for law enforcement officers and the public in Minneapolis. But the idea of simply looking at the video and making definitive conclusions about it at this point, I just think
this is the quickest way to go from
of the
All right, y'all. So as we had seen from those reports and the commentary that was made, I don't know what side anybody else is on. I know what side I'm on, because I trust my visual acuities. I trust what I see and what I watch and I bear witness to. And when I watched the video, the raw footage, not the edited or the AI footage, the raw footage that came from a lot of devices of other civilians that were in the proximity at the time that were recording everything that went down, all of the things that they're trying to say played out. It's not coming off to me to be factual or true. It's coming off to be a cover-up. And as we have heard professionals say, this very soon to make a statement as to what exactly happened and did not happen before a proper investigation is made. And so it gives you a little bit of side-eye and curiosity when it comes to that. Why do you want to speak out so quickly and so fast with solid facts that you feel as though you have as far as what happened as to why it happened? Now, there's a lot of videos and reports that I have watched since this incident of people from the neighborhood who knew this woman and who loved this woman and said that they do believe, in their personal opinion, I don't live there, I'm not her neighbor, but this is what they said, that she was attacked because of her activism and her strong voice against the brutality that is happening at the hands of ICE towards immigrants. And a lot of people will look at this and say, well, this is a Caucasian woman. Why are they, coming for this Caucasian woman? Why are they trying to take her? Why are they trying to detain her? This is not within the quota of what they said the individuals they were trying to rile up and take away from this country look like. Now, that is just me saying what other people have said, not my thoughts and feelings and opinions. People who have come now on camera that live in the neighborhood and has statements to make. And I've watched several of those videos. It is because she's an ally. She's an ally, and she has spoke up and fought against the brutal treatment of immigrants at the hand of this administration's so-called ICE organization. And because of that, and she doesn't have no problem speaking up against that and telling her mind or speaking her mind, they don't like these things. They don't like when you speak against them. They don't like when you tell the truth, so on and so forth. We know how these type of things go, y'all. But anyway, this one is a bonus video. I'm gonna go ahead and play this because this brought some interest to me as I just seen it pop up. It's not very long, so let's go ahead and play this report. And again, a lot of these people that are speaking are from the community. Some of these people have known this lady, and they are speaking truth. So, you know, to what they feel to be true, and what I also agree on as well. But let's get into it. This is a bonus video, and then we'll get into our next topic for the live.
Shooting, speaking out tonight. Her name is Emily Heller. She lives on the street where the shooting happened, and she filmed video that we have here just now to share with you out front. It shows the chaos immediately after Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by that ICE agent in Minneapolis hours ago. We're going to play it for you. I do want to warn you that it is graphic.
Can I go check a pulse? No! Back up! Now! I'm show up to work every day. How the do you do this every day? You're killing my neighbors. You're stealing my neighbors. What the man?
Emily Heller is out front now, who you heard there and filmed that in that horrifically traumatic moment. So, Emily, I know you live there. This is your street. This is your home, and you're inside your house. You hear all of this commotion. Everything is starting to happen. Okay, can you tell me what happened then? You hear everything. You come outside, and then what?
I hadn't even gotten dressed. I was making breakfast. I went out. I heard the commotion. I heard whistles, which is a common sign of ICE is nearby. And I went out onto my front porch. I didn't even have shoes on, and within 60 seconds, everything had already gone down. But there was an ICE convoy that seemed to be stuck, and then there was a protester who was blocking traffic, so they couldn't progress. And she was totally peaceful, and ICE, it seemed completely unorganized. They didn't really know what they were doing. They were screaming at her to move, move, move. And then they approached her vehicle aggressively and tried to open her door. And then that's when she got spooked, and she reversed her vehicle to.
All right, so some of the raw footage did come out within this video. I didn't expect it to. I tried to cover it up as best as I could, just for the protection of the family and the brutality of the situation. But as you can see for yourself, and if you have not watched any of the raw footage for yourself, please go and check it out. If you can see exactly what happened within that mere minutes, these individuals were storming her vehicle from the driver's side. And like we hear the neighbor and the witness saying, she got spooked and she threw the truck in reverse. When she threw it in reverse, there was no ICE agent behind the truck. And when she put it in drive and decided to accelerate off forward, there was no ICE agent in front of the vehicle. They all were storming the side of her truck from the driver's side. And so, yes, it's very triggering, y'all. I did not want to show that. I intended not to. I did not know that footage would be included in this coverage with speaking with, one of the neighbors or the actual eyewitnesses at the scene at the time. So I do apologize for that to the family and anybody else, because these things are never easy to watch. But sometimes we watch them, on our own accord or whatnot, so we can see with our raw eyes the truth of the matter as to what happened and didn't happen. And if you ask me, with my personal opinion and my eyes on the raw footage, I did not see this person in this vehicle posing any type of threat towards any of these officers for things to end up in the way that they ended up. Even amongst the way she was operating the vehicle, there was nobody that I seen with my eyes that was in harm's way behind the vehicle or directly in front of the vehicle. And as the video progressed, and I'm not going to show all of that, you can see that basically as she was accelerating forward and leaving the area, she was approached and ran down on, and that is when the pows occurred to take her out before she could make it any further. And we don't know, Lord knows why, right? And so that's just the truth of the matter. It's what I see. I don't know if it's what y'all see. Y'all let me know. I did not see any opposed threat towards any ICE agents from that vehicle or that woman to warrant, not that it would or should ever warrant, but to warrant any type of unaliving of this woman. But let's get back into the
turn her wheels to try to escape, and that's when an ICE agent stepped in front of her vehicle and said stop, and then I mean she was already moving, and then point blank shot her through her windshield in the face.
I can't imagine what it was to see that, Emily. The way that you are laying this out, though, I just want to repeat and make sure that I'm clear, and please correct me if I say anything wrong. You're saying that what you saw was disorganized ICE, but then when they tried to get her to stop, she got spooked. She reversed her car to turn her wheels to get away, and that was when the officer stepped in front.
They were telling her to leave. They were telling her to move, and then all of a sudden they were seemed like they were trying to get her. So they were telling her to move, and then in a split second they were saying they were trying to get her out of the car. So it was like she was trying to move. Once they were trying to get in her car, she was of course she wanted to leave.
All right, see this officer that they have here circled in like a ghostly like circle. I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know, okay? Now, I am due another appointment to the eye doctor. Sure am. But from what I know, my vision is pretty decent and pretty clear. And I seen that this person was wrangling around maybe the area of, let's just say, the rear view or the side view mirror of the driver's side of the truck. At no time and point in this video did I ever see this individual directly in front of the vehicle as it accelerate forward. That's what I saw. I don't know what y'all saw. So for me, is you're on the side of the driver's side, right? Everybody know the driver's side of their car, where your driver's side door is, where your driver's side window is, where your driver's side mirror is. This agent was on the side, not directly in front of the vehicle, and was on that side because he decided to wrangle onto the vehicle, hold attached to it, and try and chase her down as she was making her way forward to leave the premises. Never once did I see this man directly in front of the vehicle as to which she tried to wheel him down or roll him over. I did not see that. He was not standing directly in front of the vehicle. He's off to the side. And even if he went a little bit further past the side view mirror and he was up, where the front wheel is, that's still not directly in front of the vehicle. So someone trying to take off and you're hanging on and binding close to the vehicle while they're trying to take off, that's not that person being directly in front of the vehicle as to which you're trying to ram and run them over. In my personal opinion, it's not what I've seen in the video. You were running up on that vehicle as it was in motion, accelerating forward to leave and flee the scene. You were on the side of that vehicle, on the driver's side of that vehicle. Never at once was that individual directly in front of the vehicle to be rammed and ran over as if they're trying to report. And that's my personal opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all see. Let's continue. Trigger warning, trigger warning.
At that point, they were extremely aggressive. Yeah.
She would have been scared, obviously. President Trump, as you know, posted a video saying that it's lucky the ICE agent was alive. And I just want to be clear, the ICE agent is walking afterwards, and we know that
see right there.
He had in the hospital, he's fine and he's out.
All right. I hate to do this. I really hate to do this, but I think, look at this. Look at
walking afterwards.
Right here. Let's keep going. Right here.
The ICE agent was alive, and I just want to be clear, the ICE agent is.
This person is off to the side at like the very hood of the car, off to the left on the driver's side, not directly in front of the car to be rammed and rolled over. Look, keep going.
Walking afterwards.
Look, right here. So this one here that we can see is blocking the one that's in front of him. The one that's in front of him is the one that supposedly say, this person was trying to run me over. This person's trying to get away. This person is trying to get away because there's no telling what you individuals have in store for her and what fatalities may come. But hey, I guess we see now what those fatalities are. So she's in the vehicle, reverse. And we're looking at this as well. Take into account, this is in the snow. This is a person that is driving on a road. We can see on the sides of each road, because this is in Minneapolis. This is winter time. There is ice and there is snow on the ground. But this is a person that is trying to get away in their vehicle. That's it.
And we know that
it's not trying to hurt nobody or harm nobody. Look at this screenshot right here where I paused it. Look how he is now aiming into this vehicle. You can see the aim within the vehicle. The other ICE agent is standing back here. The one that was in the front is now aiming into the window and into the vehicle. Does that vehicle look like it is putting this agent into any harm whatsoever as far as rolling them over with the vehicle? Or is this agent not standing at a point where they are at the driver's door and the driver's window aiming a vehicle as the vehicle is trying to flee and get away?
From any.
See? Now, as that continues to happen, she's getting away. And that is right before the unfortunate pow shots are taken into the window of this individual. Now, you tell me, y'all, I want to know right here from this freeze frame. I want to know. So if this agent was supposed to be getting run over forward wise, right? Standing in front of the vehicle, about to get ran over, taking a pow shot. Does this look like they in the angle to take a pow shot from the front of the vehicle? Or does it look like they taking a pow shot from like a Segway somewhere here from the side, slightly back of the vehicle? And so when I said earlier, you look at the windshield of the vehicle, and we do see that there is a pow hole in the windshield. It came from the back. It did not come from the front. If it's coming from the front, that means this person is standing in front of the car. You're trying to railroad them and run them over, and they take a pow shot. They did not take a pow shot from the front of this truck. They took a pow shot from the back as this person had made leeway to get away and get free and away from these people. That's just what I have to say about it. I don't know what else to say. Let's keep going.
Anything that he had in the hospital, he's fine and he's out. But President Trump posted.
Stood there.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what you're going to say about what he did afterwards.
Oh, he just stood there. The other ICE agents surrounded him. He was obviously spooked too. I mean, they seem like children. They seem like untrained people.
This event is going to teach you how you can get started investing in real estate using something called tax lien investing. Tax lien investing is actually very simple. When someone fails to pay their property taxes, the government actually creates certificates for that debt. You can buy that debt from the government by paying them.
Recoup here because I hate having
he's fine and he's out. But President Trump posted
stood there that she would not make it.
Okay, right here. Let's pause. Okay. All right, y'all. We're going to do a still frame real quick. We're going to do a real quick still frame, okay? And I'm going to play it piece by piece. Now, I understand what some people may have seen as the agent being in front of the vehicle. Now, look at the front wheel of the truck, right? If a person is standing to the side of the front wheel of the truck, way up front here, almost very close to the front bumper, but still to the side. That is not in front of the vehicle. In front of the vehicle is the front bumper up here, where the emblem is, where the license plate is. That's in front of the vehicle. This agent was just far up front on the side of the driver's side of the vehicle. Let's keep going and we'll play it in small bits. Okay. So this is from when the person is first pulling out in the truck. These agents is way over here, way far over across the street, and the truck is pulling out. Well, what do we teach our kids? What do we know when we're crossing the street and vehicles are moving? You stay out of the way of a moving vehicle. But I'm not saying that to make an excuse. I'm just saying at this time, she didn't ram into. If she wants to ram into these agents right here, she would have not steered the way she steered. She would have steered the opposite direction and roll them down. Okay, let's keep going.
And so they kind of gathered around him, and then
look at this. Pause. Freeze frame. This agent ain't even worried about her. He seemed like he walking in the other direction. The agent that's on the left side of her vehicle walking in the other direction. Him over here in the snow, he looked like he might need to release himself, and he might be willing to take a pee at any point. Now this one here with the mask on, he looked like he Rambo and he gun-ho, and he determines for her to stop in this vehicle. Now, do you see any agents in front of this vehicle? Do you see any agents in front of this vehicle, or even in close enough proximity on either side of this vehicle to be harmed purposely? Do we see that in this still frame right here? I'm not seeing any of that. This guy to the left in the green coat, he's walking in the opposite direction over here by the silver truck. He ain't even worried about her. This man over here by the tree over in the snow, he don't know what's going on. The one with the mask looked like he may be trying to charge up and do a little something, but he's so far back. He's not in close proximity to her vehicle right now. Let's keep going.
there was a gold SUV.
Look at that. Look at that. Nobody is in the front of this vehicle, bro.
SUV that came and they put him in it.
And guess what happened?
And got him out of there because everyone knew he had murdered someone.
Now, where did she end up?
So President Trump says the woman was disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously.
That wasn't right. That's not right. I don't think that's right. I didn't see it. If y'all saw it, that's understandable. It's okay. Maybe we all see things differently. I didn't see it. I did not see that. I did not see them people. Now, there is another piece of footage as well. Let me see if I can find it. I don't even like to play this stuff, but just to be fair, let's just see if we can find that. It just didn't seem like that to me.
Can I go check a pole?
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
Hey, listen,
Lex, you just killed my neighbor! You caught butter in the
I didn't even have shoes on, and within who was blocking traffic, so they couldn't. She got spooked, and she reversed her vehicle to turn her wheels to try to escape. Unorganized. They didn't really know what they were doing. They were screaming at her to move, move, move. And then they approached her vehicle aggressively and tried to open her door. And then that's when she got spooked, and she reversed her vehicle.
Right here.
Completely unorganized. They didn't really know what they were doing. They were screaming at her to move, move, move. And then they approached her vehicle aggressively.
Going back.
Tried to open her.
Now, this little agent, I see where y'all might feel like he's in front of the vehicle. He's over here to the left-hand side of the driver's side, very much up towards the front, of the vehicle, but off to the side. The front of the vehicle, but off to the left-hand side of the driver's side. Not standing directly in front of the truck. Now, if she wanted to wrangle any of these people down and hit them, I believe she would steer the steering wheel to the left. That would hurt and harm them. She decided to steal the steering wheel to the right to get away from them.
Her door.
See this? These are two agents right here doubled up on top of each other. There's one there in the front that was the closest to the front of the vehicle, but not directly in front, the front left. And then there was one that was on like the handle of the driver's side door. And she just accelerating and she's going to get away about this neighborhood from around these people. See the direction she's going in.
And then
turn the wheel, going where? Not left, but right. Look at this. They even running back for a moment, looking back, not even directing towards her direction of the truck. Until what?
That's when she got spooked. And
so as you can see, when they was up on her truck, right here in close proximity, this is where the pow pows were taken off at. But we can't stay on this story for too long, y'all. So anyway, let's move along from where we was. Hold on.
Because they couldn't get through with their ambulance.
Emily, I appreciate your talking about this. I know it has to be incredibly difficult, and I think everyone understands why you're choosing to do it, to make sure people understand exactly what it is that you saw and documented, and I appreciate your being willing to do it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Joey, you heard what Emily had to say, and you know, she said, I don't want to be here, but I'm here because I want everyone to know what I saw, and she's very clear about what she saw.
Listen, it's got to be a very traumatic experience. What I'm concerned about, though, is the nature of the investigation. Let's be clear that there are going to be, of course, local officials investigating this, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, in addition to the federal government. In the event that there's anything federal here, of course, then Trump would have the power to pardon. We're not there yet. There's not been a prosecution. There's not been an indictment. There's not been a criminal charge levied. However, in the event that it goes that way, I think it's very important that the community gets a sense of fairness, a sense of justice. And in the event that it is federal, of course, there would be, according to Trump and what he put out already, he's judged that there's nothing to see here. And so if the locals get it, what will they do? Will they move forward? And if they move forward, what will that look like? Would it look like a, actual prosecution? And what would be the prosecution here? Criminal negligence, intent? We'll see.
Gil, I'm curious. Emily was talking about, there's that physician, and I understand that in the moment like this, right? The most important about this country is a country of rules and laws, and if they're not upheld in one horrific part of something, doesn't mean that they should also be dropped in another. In that context, even with that said, though, when the physician says, I can help, and he's right there, and maybe at that point it appears to everybody she's dead, but to take 15 minutes for someone to get there and to not allow someone who might be able to administer CPR, that just on a human level, that's really hard to hear.
Well, if you do have paramedics that are trained, and I believe ICE and CBP, Customs and Border Protection, has people that are trained, and they're right there, that can be a help. I think you're always going to be, as a law enforcement officer, maybe a little suspicious of the person that said, wait, I'm a doctor, I'm a physician, I can help, etc. I mean, I think they could have been handled much better. But if they did have the paramedics there immediately on the scene, they're going to give her treatment.
Right. Of course, they had said it was 15 minutes, but the trauma there that you heard, the trauma.
Yeah, I mean, that's what struck me. There's two things that struck me. First of all, just how horrific to witness this on your street, right? And then the second thing is her characterization of the behavior of the ICE agents, the lack of training, the disorganization, the way that they were talking to her, giving her contradicting, advice. So I think there's a lot to unpack here.
Uplift Americans on Medicare, his first Divine Act gifts Medicare Americans a major new spending card with a massive.
All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick song break. And then after that song break, we'll be right back. We're going to play the next video. Sorry that one took too long. It's just, I was very passionate about that. So is my mother, because we've seen a lot of these things playing out, you know, because of the technology that we have. People are recording, they're putting up the raw footage, and we can digest it for ourselves as far as what we see happening and if it really ties into what the reports are being made on what happened in a video. But do you trust what people tell you, or do you trust what your own two eyes see? That's what I think is important. But after this song break, we're going to get into Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And, you know, they're having quite an unleash on Kristi Noem as far as this whole ICE situation, her statements on it, following this Minneapolis shooting, or powing, excuse me. So we'll get into that in just a moment. I'll be right back.
Coming to you live. The nation is on edge tonight. We're tracking 3 massive stories that are shaking the foundation of the country.
In Minneapolis, the fallout from the fatal encounter between ICE and 37-year-old Renee Nicole. Good has reached a fever pitch while the Department of Homeland Security calls it domestic terrorism. Local leaders are calling it bullshit. Meanwhile, the highest court in the land is preparing to hand down a ruling that could dismantle the president's entire terror strategy. We're talking about a $200 billion reversal that could change the economy overnight. And in a shock to the digital world, Viva Parent-Swami has officially logged off, fleeing his own base after a wave of internal friction. You want the truth, you're in the right place, don't blink. We're going deep. Let's get into it. Emergency. The world's on fire. Yo, Minneapolis in mourning, a mother's life is gone. Renee Nicole good, now the battle's being drawn. DHS is whispering the shock at the response. The official line is terror, but the footage says it once. It's all on tape. The narrative is split, the tension's getting thick. DHS insiders say the cover-up is sick. Protests on the pavement, yeah, the city's getting lit. Burn it, burn it, burn it. Law in the truth is under fire. The gavel's coming down and the stakes are getting higher. From the streets to the court, we're breaking down the cage. Welcome to the live, turn the final page. Let's go. Turn the final page. Let's go. Switching to the gavel, the SCOTUS on the move. The terror war is cool and Trump got something to prove. 200 billion on the line and justice is so cold. Well, they got the whole system, yeah, the story's being told. Pay it back. We look at Vivek, the man just hit delete. Ran off social media, couldn't handle all the heat. Backlash from his own base, a digital civil war. He's offline, ghost, he ain't posting anymore. Offline.
They try to hide the facts, they try to mute the noise. But the chat is wide awake and we're finding back our voice. Back our voice, back our voice, back our voice, back our voice.
And the truth is under fire. The gavel's coming down and the stakes are getting higher.
From the streets to the court, we're breaking down the cage. Welcome to the live, turn the final page. Let's go. Let's go. We live, we direct facts. Don't believe the hype. We direct, we direct, right.
All right, y'all. So let's get into this next video. So we have Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and they will be speaking about exactly how they feel about this attack from the ICE agent onto this innocent woman, and the things that they're trying to cover up, the way they're trying to swing the story and the scenario. They're going to get into all of it, and I love to hear it. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of this, y'all, and we'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be joined by Leader Chuck Schumer, who's doing a tremendous job fighting on behalf of the American people. House Democrats, Senate Democrats joined together to drive down the high cost of living, to fix our broken healthcare system, and to deliver an America where working class folks, middle class folks, and everyday Americans cannot simply survive, but will be able to thrive economically. Let me congratulate Leader Steny Hoyer on his announcement. Leader Hoyer is a tremendous public servant, iconic, transformational, and legendary leader. And the House Democratic Caucus will miss him, but the House Democratic Caucus is thankful for his service, for his friendship, for his mentorship, and certainly all that Leader Hoyer has done over decades of service here in the People's House to make life better for the American people. Later on today, House Democrats, joined by some of our Republican colleagues in a bipartisan coalition, will advance legislation to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits to prevent millions of everyday Americans from experiencing dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles that would prevent them from being able to go see a doctor when they need one. The cost of living in America is far too high. And from the very beginning of this Congress, House Democrats have said that we will work with our colleagues on the other side of the aisle in order to find bipartisan common ground if our Republican colleagues are willing to focus on making life better for everyday Americans, which means addressing the affordability crisis in this country. The affordability crisis is not a hoax, it is very real. Despite what Donald Trump has had to say. Housing costs are too high, grocery costs are too high, utility bills are too high, child care costs are too high, and health care costs are out of control. House Democrats, joined by Leader Schumer and Senate Democrats, have maintained from the very beginning that we were in this affordability fight until we win this affordability fight. And today, we have an opportunity to take a meaningful step forward to lower the high cost of living for everyday Americans, particularly as it relates to health care. But it's a battle that we will continue to wage on behalf of the American people. It's now my honor to yield to the highly distinguished leader of the Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries, and thank you and House Democrats for their great work and what's happening on the floor today. I too want to just salute Steny Hoyer for an amazing, productive career. He will be missed. Democrats are going to make health care and other high costs, the high cost of living, the #1 issue for all of 2026. The average American family, there are millions of them discussing this right now. How are we going to pay the bills? Do I have to put aside my retirement to pay for my higher health care costs? What am I going to do with the higher bills that I'm facing?
Sure if you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming
And everyday Americans are saying to their elected officials, do something about it. Unfortunately, our Republican friends have stood in the way of doing something about it, whether it's electric costs, healthcare costs, housing costs, tariffs, you name it. Yesterday, we Democrats in the Senate had a great forum to talk about housing costs. And then weeks ahead, we'll be talking about the cost of groceries and the cost of electricity, the cost of goods that tariffs have increased, the cost of childcare. And we will be relentless on focusing on this issue. Relentless. This is what the American people are demanding of us. And here the Republicans are in their bubble. The contrast of what's going on today in the House and the Senate is glaring. In the House, led by Leader Jeffries, Democrats are trying to extend the credits for 3 years to reduce health care costs. In the Senate, we Democrats are fighting to prevent military adventurism in Venezuela and other countries and endless wars. Donald Trump said last night in his interview with the New York Times, it could take years to solve the problem in Venezuela. That is not what Americans want. So Democrats in the House and Senate are focusing on lowering your costs, dealing with affordability. Republicans, led by Donald Trump, are focused on spending our treasure and, God forbid, lives in military adventurism overseas. Again, we are focused on lowering people's costs. We believe that's what the American people want us to do. And I hope today there will be more Republicans joining this leader. And if Republicans in the Senate should listen to the American people, stop this military adventurism by voting for the War Powers Act, which could stop future actions in Venezuela without congressional approval.
Thank you, Leader Schumer.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. In terms of the ACA, do you believe that a bipartisan deal is in reach in the Senate? And for the millions of people who are enrolled in the ACA, should they have confidence that these credits will actually be extended?
Well, it's important to take a step forward today, a meaningful step, which is being done in a bipartisan way. Every single House Democrat, joined by a handful of our Republican colleagues, and we're thankful for the bipartisan partnership that is underway. We have to get that done. There's still 2 additional votes today before we can get the Affordable Care Act tax credit extension legislation over the finish line. So we're focused on that right now and have every confidence that Leader Schumer and Senate Democrats are going to do all that they need to do to work to get the legislation over the finish line. The Senate Democrats have been strong on this legislation, and they've been joined by a handful of Senate Republicans. Leader Thune needs to stop playing procedural games, because we know that a majority of senators are already on record supporting a straightforward extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits.
Yeah, let me say, in answer to your question, American people should ask Leader Thune, are you willing to put this bill that the House now is moving forward on the floor of the Senate? Because it will pass. And that is the way to get this done. Right now, Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson have said they don't want to extend the ACA credits for a day, let alone a year. Most of the Republicans in the House and Senate want to put poison pill riders about abortion on it. They are standing in the way. They ought to get out of the way so we can help the American people. And that goes particularly to Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson.
Shut down the government right now. Some of your colleagues are threatening to shut down the government right now over the fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Given the fact that we saw the government shut down over these subsidies, I mean, is this a road that Democrats now want to walk down again?
The Appropriations Committee, and particularly the committees on Homeland Security, are taking up this issue, and they will have a very important and serious discussion about it. You're next.
So given that you said that they're going to be taking up the appropriations process, if Democrats take back the House or Senate, will they do anything to slash funding for ICE or hold ICE accountable for these fatal shootings? There are multiple shootings, not just what happened to Renee Good.
Let me first say that the killing of Renee Nicole Good was an abomination, a disgrace. And blood is clearly on the hands of those individuals within the administration who've been pushing an extreme policy that has nothing to do with immigration enforcement connected to removing violent felons from this country. We support the removal of violent felons from this country who are here illegally. But that's not what this administration has been doing under the so-called leadership of Kristi Noem, who's a stone cold liar. There's no evidence at all that this was a justified shooting. So let's deal with the tragedy right now. She hasn't even been buried. Her family is grieving, mom and an American citizen. And we all are outraged by what took place in Minneapolis, and we will respond decisively.
It is. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. And I just want to, I watched the video. You felt like your stomach was being punched. Looking at the video, there seemed no justification for what these agents did. There needs to be a full investigation at the federal level, although I have little faith in the FBI at doing a fair investigation or DHS, but at the local level as well. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
And I'd like to hear from both of you. So obviously, both of you have supported a 3-year extension of the Obamacare tax credit. That's in the bill that's probably going to pass today. If this goes over to the Senate and they come up with something that tapers that down or is an off ramp or something short of that, is that something that you guys
look? They are in a total pretzel knot. They don't support an extension a single day of the ACA tax credits, which is the #1 thing to reduce costs immediately. There's more to be done, but they don't even support that. The vast majority of them, even when Trump said he might look at some change in abortion, said no, no, no. So they've got to get their act together, and they don't have it right now.
Leader Schumer is exactly right. The Republicans need to get their act together in terms of their leadership. These are people who are supporting military adventurism, billions of dollars being spent in South America and in other parts of the world. Yet Republican leaders in the House and the Senate are not willing to spend a dime to keep health care affordable for the American people. Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day 1 of his presidency. Costs aren't going down, they've gone up. And so it's an all hands on deck effort that Democrats are committed to make sure we lower the high cost of living. And our objective right now—
Let them come up with an idea and a plan. They don't have it.
Our objective right now is to pass the bill in the House.
Chuck Schumer be cracking me up. He do not got time, y'all. He is tired of this fight. He been fighting this good fight for a long time. He ain't got time, child. He said he hopped out there and was just making comments. And Hakeem Jeffries was just like, but anyway, they both are doing great work. Salute to both of them. But anyway, they did give the little synopsis, well, not synopsis, but they did give their commentary on, you know, the issue here at hand that we're talking about within this portion. But we're going to move on because I want to speed it up. I know we're almost reaching 2 hours and I got so many other things to get through. So we got to go to the next topic, but I did want to play a song just in a remembrance, not just of people who have currently been lost, like we see here on these reports today, but throughout history, right? Because it's not our first time seeing this, this type of brutalization, people just lives being taken like they're just so easy to take. It's really hurtful to watch. It's really hurtful to see. You know what I mean? And this woman, she had children. Y'all got to think about it. You got children, you got babies at home waiting for you to come home. You know, would you want your babies to not be able to have you show up on the doorstep that evening and come home to them? Is that something that you want? It's not. And it's not something that we should think is okay to happen to anybody that has babies and children. And her children are young. And she won't be coming home to them. And we pray and we hope everything will be okay with those babies and those children. But it's not right. All because of what? What, some type of wannabe dictator operation has been put in place? That is a ghetto, if you ask me, operation. But that's my personal opinion. It derives from hate. It derives from greed. It derives from racism, excuse me. All of those things, right? And we know that those are big things that we fight against and combat against every day in this world. And so if you see something like that, you should have a feeling, a heart, in some shape or form, to understand that these things is not right. You wouldn't want it to happen to you. You wouldn't want it to happen to your family, your babies. So why should we sit still and be quiet when it's happening to anybody else's? Anyway, let's go ahead and play this song real quick, y'all, and we'll get into the next topic.
Another light gone dark, another star fades out.
Yeah. We lost another one. Yeah.
Check the timeline, another face in a frame. Same caption, different name, the hurt remains the same. We scroll past, maybe pause, feel away for a minute. Then it's back to the race, but some ain't get the finish. We saw the smile, the highlight reel, they let us see. Never the weight on their shoulders, a silent plea. Battling demons on the room with the doors all locked. While we was watching the hands go round on the clock. Just a regular person with a story untold. Heart full of warmth that suddenly gone cold. The quiet ones in the corner, the light for the party. You just never know the war that's waged inside somebody's body.
Counting all the promises the world just couldn't keep. And the air gets heavy now. We're singing R.I.P. to the fallen angel. Another beautiful soul gone too soon. Caught between the trials and the pain, though they were reaching for the sun, but got lost in the moon. So let's be kind of the time we have left, 'cause you never know the weight on some lost yes, a final quiet laugh. On the spring soul.
Yeah. It's the ripple that hurts the most, the empty space they leave, the memories that haunt the ones who are left to grieve. A mother's child, a partner's love, a ride or die best friend, a storybook that slammed shut right before the end. We judge the cover, never reading what's inside the pages. Assume the strength, ignoring all the war that rages. A simple word, a loving gesture, are you good, that's real, could be the very anchor that somebody needs to feel. So check on your strong friends, the ones that never seem to break, 'cause sometimes the widest smiles are the easiest to fake.
We say we're fine, so we're fine. We were about so deep. So deep. Oh, counting all the promises the world just couldn't keep. And all
All right, y'all. So I just wanted to play that song real quick, because I just feel like there's so much going on right now. And, I just feel as though people are leaving us left and right. And a lot of this is happening at the hands of evil, is happening at the hands of individuals that are, I don't know, it just seems like demonic at the core. There's no reason for it, there's no understanding for it. What we like to rest in is the fact that we know that God's going to make it right. And we know that everything is going to be okay. But these lives lost and taken from us, especially when it's very early and far much in our eyes, we feel going too soon, which is the title of the song. We can't be sure. We can't be sure what God's plan is, but I don't think any of these things are God's plan. And that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, y'all, let's get into the next video here. So let's talk about these terrorists, y'all. And I did hear an interesting video yesterday when I was watching some reports. Because if y'all are like me, child, and y'all like to shop at Walmart, Walmart said they don't want to do business with the U.S. no more. So what does that mean for us? For people who get their groceries and, their household items and all of those things from Walmart. What does that really truthfully mean for us? We can't be sure, but we'll get to that conversation another day. However, this video I'm about to show y'all does tie into it because we're talking about tariffs. And when we're talking about tariffs and these economical plans that are in place, a lot of the reasoning as to why companies and businesses are pulling out from doing business with the United States is because Trump went on this wild tariff mission to, just smack everybody with a tariff, okay? Just because he felt like it or he was in a bad mood. And when it comes down to business-wise, what that looks like for us as the people and the consumers, we can be dealing with a lot of higher prices and be in some big trouble. There may be some things that we may not even be able to get a hold of anymore when it comes to tariffs. And other countries are standing up and speaking up, and they're saying they're not rocking with it. They're not conforming to that. If you don't want to do proper business with us or fair business with us, we'll take our business and our goods and our services elsewhere. And so that is what has been the blowout of a lot of the tariff wars that Trump has started. And so there's been a lot of, counter decisions that have been made. And I think that our country here has now realized that these counter decisions that other countries are making is not really going to serve us very well. And so, I don't know. There's Trump, and then there's the government. Like, there's two different sectors. You know what I mean? Like, Trump do what Trump want to do, him and his folk and his people. And then there are people that want to do it the lawful and the rightful way. And they understand how a lot of these things can hurt consumers and everyday citizens like you and me a lot. And they're fighting back because they hold seats and positions to be able to fight back. And so the Supreme Court, they're not with it. They're not with it. And so they are making rulings to destroy Trump's economic plan because if they see these things rolling out, they realize it's not going to be good for us at all. And there's already countries that's like, okay, chucking up deuces and doing business elsewhere. So let's get into it. So this is Michael Popak. This is over here on the Midas Touch Network. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit what he has to say in this report here on what is going on with the Supreme Court, close to destroying Trump's economic plan. And this all ties into tariffs. Let's get into it.
Well, we're less than 24 hours away, 10 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time, for the United States Supreme Court to drop on our head some opinions from cases that have already been fully briefed and oral argument has already occurred. And I think we're going to see, I think it's a 70% chance that one of those cases is going to be the tariff case, in which the United States Supreme Court, I believe, is likely to overturn Donald Trump's attempt through the International Economic Emergency Powers Act to impose tariffs as if he were Congress on 200 countries for an indefinite period of time on an indefinite list of goods. That is the power of Congress under Article 1, not the presidency under Article 2. So if that happens, and it looks like the Trump administration may already be taking steps to provide those refunds, I'll tell you that in a minute. If that happens, that is a major blow to Donald Trump's domestic and foreign policy and economic policy. It doesn't leave him without the ability to impose tariffs. It just accept an emergency in limited circumstances. He's already collected about $150 billion worth of tariffs. And I'll tell you about something that indicates that maybe Trump actually knows he's going to lose, which I think is going to happen. And it could be as early as tomorrow. You're on Legal AF. I'm doing a little early unprecedented. It's that maybe Trump actually knows he's going to lose, which I think is going to happen. And it could be as early as tomorrow. You're on Legal AF. I'm doing a little early unprecedented, a review of what's going to happen tomorrow with the 10 a.m. drop of cases. They're definitely dropping a case, dropping an opinion. I think it's going to be the tariffs. I'll tell you why in a moment. The other one that's up for grabs that is very, very important to our democracy is the Calais case out of Louisiana. Because in that one, they may finally put the final nail in the coffin of the Voting Rights Act, allowing for lily white districts to the detriment of black and brown representation in congressional districts. And that would not violate the Voting Rights Act. In fact, if they rule the way we think they're going to rule, it's likely that they'll find some way to determine that the creation of new districts to promote black and brown representation to reflect the demographic of a state is itself a violation of the 14th Amendment created after the Civil War to empower newly freed slaves. But of course, it's been interpreted to go much further beyond that. So that Calais decision, that's a big one too. Listen, I'm going to talk more about this. Take a moment. Let me take a breather. Hit the subscribe button below. We got new paid membership levels now in 2026 for Legal AF YouTube, because we're expanding. We're going global because, you know, the guy in the Oval Office is going global. And so to do so, we need, of course, your support, your people power, your citizen power. And come over to Legal AF Substack and hit the subscribe button there as well. Okay, those are the two major cases. And those would, just one of those cases being dropped would take up, consume a lot of oxygen from the Trump administration. Now, Trump knows that he's likely to lose at the Supreme Court on this issue. You got to be a fool if you listen to the oral argument of the various judges talking about, and Republican MAGA judges talking about this. You know you're on a losing streak. I mean, when you have Kavanaugh talking about it in a negative terms, the power of the president. There's no one who's more pro-presidential power than Kavanaugh, or Gorsuch talking about it that way in a negative way, or Amy Coney Barrett. Let me play you Gorsuch, which he could be the swing vote. I think this is going to be 6-3, at least 5-4. I think Amy Coney Barrett, I think Roberts, I think those two alone side with the three liberals and moderates to make it 5-4. But I think Gorsuch goes over too. Here's a clip of Gorsuch.
I think you're saying that no, the president doesn't have inherent authority over tariffs in peacetime.
Absolutely. We do not assert that. We say that Congress can delegate that to him. And when Congress does so, as it does when it uses the phrase regulated importation.
I follow all of that. Okay. You emphasize that Congress can always take back its powers. You mentioned that a couple of times. But don't we have a serious retrieval problem here? Because once Congress delegates by a bare majority and the president signs it, and of course every president will sign a law that gives him more authority, Congress can't take that back without a supermajority. And even then, it's going to be veto proof. What president's ever going to give that power back? Pretty rare president. So how should that inform our view of delegations and major questions.
I would look at the balance that Congress struck, because what Congress did initially, it had a 2-house legislative veto.
And we struck that down.
And then Congress went back to the statute and amended it. It took out the legislative veto and left in the joint resolution, but still left the president with all those powers.
That's what Congress did?
Yes.
Fair enough. As a practical matter, in the real world, it can never get that power back.
I disagree, because in January 2023, Congress voted to terminate one of the biggest IEPA emergencies ever, the COVID emergency, and the president went along with that. So what the statute reflects is there's going to be the ability for a sort of political consensus against a declared emergency.
But what happens when the president simply vetoes legislation to try to take these powers back?
And he's not the only one. Amy Coney Barrett was actually questioning the advocates about whether they have a process for refunds in place and how messy that would be. Let's play that clip.
And then if you win, tell me how the reimbursement process would work. Would it be a complete mess? I mean, you're saying before the government promised reimbursement, and now you're saying, well, that's rich, but how would this work? It seems to me like it could be a mess.
So the first thing I'd say is that just underscores just how major a question this is. The very fact that you were dealing with this with quotas, there's no refund process to the tunes of billions of dollars or embargoes, but there is here. But for our case, the way it would work is, in this case, the government stipulated for the 5 plaintiffs that they would get the refunds. So for us, that's how it would work. Your question, I take it, is about everyone else. We don't have a class action or anything like that. With respect to everyone else, there's a whole specialized body of trade law, and it's in 19 USC 1514 outlines all these administrative procedures. It's a very complicated thing. There's got to be an administrative protest. There was a harbor management case earlier that this court was involved with in the United States Shoe, in which, the refund process took a long time. There were any number of claims and equitable relief.
So a mess.
So it's difficult,
Okay.
absolutely. We don't deny that it's difficult, but I think what this court has said in the McKesson case in 1990 is that serious economic dislocation isn't a reason to do something. Northern Pipeline, you guys stayed your decision for a while in order to let the congressional process unfold. There may be a congressional process here as well. You may be able to also be that this court could limit its decision to prospective relief under the John Q. Hammonds case. So there's lots of possibilities.
Well, it looks like that those oral arguments were heard by people in the administration, because the Customs and Border Patrol, the CBP, has now quietly set up electronic mechanisms to refund electronically the money. They haven't made it totally automated, like you plug in your number, put in a confirming number, and get it wired back to your account. But at least they're not doing paper checks, and that's a good sign. On the Voting Rights Act, same thing. Roberts and Kavanaugh, who once opposed killing off the Voting Rights Act, one of our last vestiges coming from the civil rights movement, in the last oral argument, they were very supportive of finding a way to get rid of the Voting Rights Act. And the way the question was framed, particularly for that particular oral argument, was, does the Voting Rights Act as interpreted and the new districts in Louisiana violate the 14th Amendment? Like, we're already in trouble. So these opinions will be coming out tomorrow. Let me warn you what's not coming out tomorrow. Birthright citizenship, that has not been fully briefed, nor an oral argument. We're having oral argument at the Supreme Court. These will all be on Legal AF as a live stream. January 9th, oral argument on the transgender case. January 11th on Lisa Cook and her struggle to stay on at the Federal Reserve and keep Donald Trump from taking over the independent Federal Reserve. Those are the ones coming up. Stay with us here on Legal AF for those reports. We put them up on a live stream. We'll get 40, 50, 100,000 people joining us for it. And we do usually a pregame show. And great news, the show that I do with Dina Dahl called Unprecedented once a week about the Supreme Court, we're going big time, where we've become a full-blown podcast on Apple, on Spotify, a Legal AF produced podcast. Another one who's joining us there for 2026 is Court of History. and all their work on Legal AF with Sidney Blumenthal and Sean Wilentz. Also up on podcast platforms, audio podcast platforms of your choice. So until my next report, tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll figure out what just went wrong at the Supreme Court together. Or maybe something went right, like tariffs have been struck down. I'm Michael Popak. I'm Mike.
All right, y'all. So as you can see, hope is available. Hope is out there. Faith, all of these things, right? There are not, just everybody that's moving in this direction with Trump and his regime and his administration and all the people that he put on his administration that, in my personal opinion, aren't qualified for the job. But that's neither here nor there. What we're talking about is a grander scale of things, right versus wrong, good versus evil. We're seeing a lot of battles of this to come, not just here within the political and governmental sector, but worldwide in all different places and spaces. And so what we always know to be true is that the light always overpowers the darkness. And there will be fighters and individuals that will step up and speak up and fight towards the light. And so, sometimes when we do get ourselves a little bit worked up, and Lord knows I do, when it comes to these things, and we start to feel like hope is lost, hope is never lost. We always have the light side fighting against the dark side, and we'll just see who wins. But yeah, when it comes to those terrorists, y'all, there are some fighting that's going on there. And we also can be very clear about realistically, humanically, why these individuals be buying their pantyhose at Walmart too. And they don't want to pay $8 instead of paying $4. And so, we always have to remind ourselves that no matter what job you have and the position you hold, you're still a human being and you do whatever you see fit to do. Maybe you have the money, but you want to shop on a budget, whatever. And these tariffs is going to affect not just the people who are working the 9-to-5s and the regular everyday jobs, but it's going to affect all of us, even the individuals that just may have more money than the rest of us and want to keep majority of that money in their bank account in their pocket. When these tariffs switch around, things that they consume and purchase as well, prices is going to go up as well. And so we can bet on the fact that they'll probably fight against it for that purpose alone. Not that even maybe they necessarily care about all the people, but we can at least bet they care in themselves. So anyway, we're going to get into our final video after this song break, y'all. And this one, is going to be one of the really good ones from no one other than Reese Waters. He's a really dope person. If y'all have not checked him out or check out his channel, you really should. He is hilarious, and he really breaks down the political stuff so great because he adds it with the perfect pairing with comedy, being that he comes from the comedy background as well. And so I really like listening to his content. So we'll get into that. And our final topic we're going to be talking about is Vivek Ramaswamy. Apparently, he has been ran off of social media and things of that nature. And I can't tell it like Reese tell it. So I'm going to let him do it. But I will go ahead and take a quick song break real quick. And then when we come back, we'll play that final video for the live. I'll be back with y'all in just a moment. Let's get into this song.
They drag us from the coast, middle passage madness, where we lost the most. Packed in hoes like cargo, spirits in a cage. Built a brand new nation, lived a life of rage. Yeah, we were the property, the 3/5 compromise. Picked the cotton, built the White House with our hands inside. And they watered all the poplar trees with our blood and cries. Yeah, you know what they were for beneath the southern skies. That Strange fruit, hanging message of the hate. A simple wrong look was enough to seal your fate. To my brown kin, they just stole it, called it manifest. Killed the Aztecs, stole the planes, put them to the west. The good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back, not going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. Let's talk about a word. In your hood. Let's talk about a word. See how it sticks. 6 letters, COLORED to politics. Not a person, just a label, just a shade on a chart. A legal way to tear a whole damn race apart. Colored water fountain, colored waiting room, colored entrance round the back, a social living tomb. Jim Crow was the law, man. Segregation was the tool. Taught a child to hate his own skin before he went to school. And it ain't just here, that's the global view. Apartheid, colonization, yeah, they did it there too. That word was a weapon, a boot on the neck to say you live, you die, you move at our check. They want the good old days, the signs on the wall. They want us broken, silent, waiting for the call. They wanna push us backwards, drag us down to hell, but we ain't going back. 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 Don't you dare say it's repeating. It never stops. They just got new suits, new slogans, new cops. They ban the books that tell the truth of Act 1. They call a protest riot soon as the marching's done. They tell us get over it, it wasn't us. While they build the same systems of them and us. Gerrymander the district, choke the money from the school. Praise the good old days while they fill the modern jails. This is the warning, this is the last thing. We learned your lessons, now we understand. We are the children of the ones you couldn't break. We are the dream that you could never ever take. We are the fire you tried to douse with ice. We paid the cost, we ain't gon' pay it twice. You want us back in chains, you want us on our knees. We'd rather die right here standing on our feet. This ain't a threat, this is a promise we fulfill. We ain't ever going back. Oh yeah, it's just here. You are to say we ain't going back. We'll fight you tooth and nail. We ain't going back.
Inside modern government, political staffers on both sides of the aisle. There we go into both sides. Oh, we know where this is going. We know. I said he ready to take a stand. Both sides. Get out of here.
Get the hell out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Okay.
Get out. Get out.
Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Racist of the Week, where we explore the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you see any nominees, you can drop them in the comments. You can email me at admin@reesewaters.com. Today's nominee, we bullied Vivek off Twitter from Nick Fuentes. Vivek, you didn't let them run you off Twitter, did you? No, you know it. Now, I know you've been bullied before. This ain't your first rodeo. Come on, Vivek. What happened? My social media feeds are littered with hundreds of slurs, most from accounts that I don't recognize, about Pajeets and street. Nah.
All right, y'all. So this is one of the part of the segment of this live that I think is, well, all of it's been important, but one of these parts of the live right here is, I think, very important. I want us to pay close attention to this, and shout out to Reese Waters. He does such an excellent job with, really reporting on these things and giving us that dose of comedy. Because I think that a lot of times when it comes to us receiving the hard messages, it's better received with a dose of comedy, right? And one of the severity situations that I've always paid attention to, and I know that are true, but a lot of people lose sight of, is the fact that, let's be very clear, when you are a certain race or a certain color, or you practice a certain religion, right? You like to think, and it, I guess, was sold that when you come to this country, especially in the United States and America, that you can have all of those things and you can be free to practice whatever religion you practice. You can be welcome with open arms, no matter what race you are. And that is a dream and a lie that they've been selling for a very long period of time. And it took a Donald Trump, in my personal opinion, to just stand on business when it comes to the individuals that know they really don't feel that way. And so when all of that plays out, and you as an individual think that you're the exception to the rule, and you get to make it through the door, you get to get the position, you feel as though you're getting the handshake and the respect, despite the fact that you're a different race and you come from a different country or a different background or heritage, and you might practice a different religion, that you're part of the group and you're allowed to sit at the table. But I guess once you finally realize these people don't really think like that, they never did and they never will, because history sometimes just seems to continue to repeat itself, especially when it comes to the evil, hateful history and the foundation of this country and the people who created it. We're starting to see the hard way, a lot of us, right? That they really don't like us. They really don't want us here. They really don't want us around. They don't want us working with them. They don't want us telling them what to do. They don't want us living next door to them. Like, how many times do you have to see things playing out the way they're playing out in current day time? And not just the leaders and the individuals that put these things in place, the people that support it and agree. It shows you the percentage of how this world is still not very much further from where it came from. And so I don't laugh at anybody's abuse or demise or anything like that. But I think that there is coming a time when we all need to have a wake-up call and fully understand that there's been a lot of gaslighting being done for a lot of decades. And we have been gaslighted to think that we are accepted, we are included, we are loved, and we are one of them. And we aren't, and we never will be, and we shouldn't desire to be. But when you start hearing stories and seeing things play out like this, you do feel bad for the individuals that like really feel for it. You know what I mean? Like, I've walked around in this world and I've had jobs and I've worked in workplaces, very professional ones. And I was doing my job, get my money, going home. That's it. But never once did I feel like I was included there. Never once did I feel like I was wanted there. A lot of that stuff comes from EEO, and if you let them tell a child, DEI. But DEI is totally different from EEO in some ways. So that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But anyway, if you pay close attention to how people treat you, how they look at you, how they talk to you, how they operate when they're around you, they really don't like you. They really don't want you there. They'll pretend and gaslight, and they'll even use you for your mindset. They'll use you for your skill set. They'll use you for your intellect. They'll use you for whatever it is they need to use you for. And then once they're done and they've used you up, they'll cast you out. They'll throw you out to the wolves. And when you're screaming for help, they won't come help you because they don't care. You're being used. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you sound like such a Debbie Downer. Oh my God, you sound so negative. Why do you talk like that? Have we not witnessed it to be true? Do we not see it playing out day after day after day, whether it's in our regular workspaces where we clock in, or whether it's in our government political systems where we see things are taking a crazy shift, right? to going back to a time in an era when, child, we wasn't included. So why do you think they want to take it back to those times? Why do you think they want things back in that type of order? They don't like you. They don't want you around. You can be a fetish. You can be a good time girl, you know, something like that. But do they really respect you as an equal and really like or care for you? No. And now the truth is coming out. And so this is why I say it's always a silver lining in a lot of the negativity and the darkness that we tend to see playing out right now. If you pay close enough attention to it, you'll get the moral of the story. They don't like you and they don't want you here. But let's keep going, y'all. Reese can tell you better than I can tell you. Let's get back into it.
Vivek, no, we not. I don't. No, you know, it sounds like you got a victim mentality. Isn't that what you taught me, Vivek? Don't be a victim. It sounds like you have a victim mentality, sir. And I know they said the one thing about pooping in the street, that whole Virginia Beach thing, but they not still on that. Maybe they meant because you work so hard, because you work so hard and that you don't even got time for bathroom breaks because you be working so hard. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what they. Well, at least, are you ready to call out the racism? It sounds like you ready to call out the racism. Are you ready to take a stand? Social media is a trap for politicians. I'm swearing off Instagram and X, where it's too easy to get a distorted sense of the public's concerns. On New Year's Eve, I deleted X and Instagram from my phone. I'll spend my newfound time listening to more voters in real world Ohio, developing more policies to make our state affordable, and being more present with my family. Not to mention rapping Eminem and collecting garbage. You forgot rapping Eminem and collecting garbage. That's also things that you will spend your time doing.
Loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's joking how everybody's joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, plow.
Oh,
brother. Oh, wait, pause. Wait, I'm so sorry. I gotta take a laugh pause. For real. Like, I missed that. Like, I missed all of that. I did not see that. Thank you, Reese. I did not see what? What are we doing? What was that rap though? But then this the thing for me though, yo. Let me stop. Like, no, I don't want to stop. This the thing for me though. You quoting rappers. Should I say it? Should I not say it? You rapping to rappers that. Should I say it? Should I not say it? Y'all know I stay in trouble. Because I just keep it real. What are we doing here? I did not see that. I did not see that. That's crazy. That's my first time saying it. And don't get me wrong, y'all. Like, let's be clear. I was down with some Slim Shady back in the day. Okay. I love me some Slim Shady for real. I used to listen to his music all the time. But really, like that, like you take it there, like that's the rapper that you quoting. That's the rapper. Okay, got it. All right. So how should we feel about this? How should we feel about all of this? Let's just let Reese keep doing some more of his great work and see how we feel about this after Reese is done. Don't we doing? Because, child, I don't want to say too much.
This guy stinks! My experience at Turning Point USA's America Fest conference in December was a case in point. I delivered a speech arguing that the U.S. is a nation defined above all by ideals, not shared bloodlines. Based on social media comments beforehand, I expected to be booed. Okay, if we're honest, that's not just based on social media comments beforehand. That's also based on the last time you were at Turning Point USA. Oh, we remember.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you.
All right, y'all. Just a quick pause for a quick disclaimer based off of me, Golden. Y'all know how I am. All right. How do I break this down? Considering the questions he was asked from the individuals asked upon it in the place in the space where he desires to go and govern, I cannot say that these people are not open and free or welcome to have these said questions to this said person that wants to come into their, space and place and govern over them, considering, that they have these strong religious beliefs, right? I don't judge anybody's religious beliefs, and I don't judge anybody's spiritual beliefs. Y'all know that over here when y'all be around me and my mama or whatever. We don't judge nobody because their spiritual and religious beliefs is different. We don't. And we don't feel no type of way. Ours is what it is, and others will be what it will be. But for me, the whole thing when it comes to this is it's just, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people try to move their way or slither their way into spaces and take control over spaces and go into spaces where they're not wanted. And when you do that, I feel as though you cannot be upset when you're met with, discord. I think you cannot be upset when you're met with pause, when they stop you at the door and, they're looking you up and down and sizing you up, and they may not want to let you get in, but you have to know those things prior to going to the places and the spaces that you desire to go to, right? You need to know if it's, let me not quote Life. Let me not quote a scene from the movie Life. Okay. These is white only pies. Okay. You can't have a slice. Okay. And we made that very clear. So don't walk your ass up in here looking for a slice of pie or anything else in this restaurant. And we made it very clear. We put it on the door that this is whites only. You see what I'm saying when it comes to that? And I hate to be that type of person, but I just feel like we got to keep it real and true about what it is. If somebody tell you, and you know for sure that these people have already put a sign on the door, or they be outside marching and protesting or preaching or doing whatever it is they're doing, and they make it very clear that you are not welcome, why carry your square ass up over there and try to get up in their space and place? That's foolish on you, right? You're setting yourself up for failure. That's just how I feel. Don't go to places where you're not wanted, period. Okay? And again, I guess maybe he was inspired due to the fact that Dave Chappelle live in Ohio, but sir, you ain't no Dave Chappelle. So it's very different when it comes to comedy and politics. People don't mind laughing. And child, if I was going to be real about what they're laughing at and how they laugh, that would be hard, because sometimes they're laughing with you and sometimes they're laughing at you. But that's a whole nother thing. But it's very different from being a comedian versus being a politician. They don't want you making and calling the shots for their life and how they live and how they survive. You know what I mean? So it's just I don't know what made you think that you didn't do your research before you just, packed up your briefcase after you left Trump's regime and traveled yourself over here to the Ohio area, in this specific area that you wanted to govern over, and you didn't know how them people think and how they operate and how they do, especially when it comes to their religion and their spiritual belief. You didn't do none of your research when it came to that. You should probably do that, because then it would possibly, avoid you from going through public humiliations like this. But let's let Reese keep doing what Reese does. Okay.
Seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
You familiar with the Ten Commandments? You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president?
No, I think it's... No, well...
You be honest.
Isn't Hinduism...
Because you're an Indian.
I expected to be booed. If you scroll through them after, you'd believe that's what happened. But in reality, I received a standing ovation from a politically engaged audience of well over 20,000 attendees. I saw a spate of shocking racial slurs and worse on social media. Yet that same year, I visited tens of thousands of voters across all of Ohio's 88 counties, from inner cities to farms, union halls to factories, Republican rallies to one-on-one discussions with protesters, and I didn't hear a single bigoted remark from an Ohio voter the entire year. Oh, you mean the same Ohio where the Yahtzees was marching around? All that same year where they was on the bridge in Lincoln Heights? And you mean that Ohio? Is that what you talk? You mean the same Ohio where the lady told the waiter, I hope you get deported, and then started a GoFundMe? You mean that Ohio? Is that? Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't hear one. Oh, okay. Directed at you. That's what. Got it. And is this the same Ohio where the councilman took a power nap outside Buffalo Wild Wings in Mentor? You just wanted to bring that up, didn't you? You just wanted an excuse to mention that dudes was driving around with melatonin in their trunk. That's what. That's what. Social media's war projection of reality is reinforced inside modern government. Political staffers on both sides of the aisle. There we go into both sides. Oh, we know where this is going. We know. I said he ready to take a stand. Both sides. Get out of here.
Get the hell out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Okay.
Get out. Get out.
Political staffers on both sides of the aisle skew young and hyper attuned to social media. Twitter was built to imitate real life conversations, but in modern younger political circles, real life conversations are imitating Twitter. As political commentator Richard Hanania observed last year, young political aides now compete to be the most based, one-upping each other with increasingly unhinged positions on race, sex, and who the good guys were in World War II. If you've ever winced at a social media post by an official government account, remember that the person who wrote it is often a young employee who takes most of his cues from the internet. Over time, the state itself begins to sound like X. Okay, now let's brush past the fact that he claims he didn't hear a single bigoted word from the state that kept me busy all last year on Racist of the Week. Let's also highlight the fact that he wants to both sides this idea of political staffers and talk about what we hear from official government accounts. Well, what official government accounts are Democrats in charge of? Because we have seen what the official government accounts have been posting in the past year. How many of those was Biden's? But you wanted both sides. And you wonder why you get dragged the way that you do. And it's up to me to come to your defense when you still refuse to acknowledge the root of the problem. Groypers made Vivek Ramaswamy give up social media, and you're blackpilling. LOL, 2026 started off great. Excuse me. Wait, no, Vivek said it was both sides. So the Groypers can settle down. Apparently this is both sides. Republicans across Ohio are looking for a candidate who respects the working class. They want someone who's been on the ground listening and earning support in every one of Ohio's 88 counties. Vivek Ramaswamy checks every box, and we're proud to stand with him. I had about enough of these 88s. I had about enough of that. That's not, that's not, Ohio GOP, just, you know. Well, what's your comments look like? Attention, all American patriots. We have successfully cyberbullied Vivek Ramaswamy so hard he's quitting Twitter and whining about it on paywalled Wall Street Journal articles. The Ohio GOP chairman has locked replies to his tweets. Cyberbullying politicians works. That's right. That's right. The Ohio GOP had to once again come to Vivek's defense and assert him as a real American and a son of Ohio, which ended up.
Y'all want to know what the sad part is about all of this, right? And it's not just Vivek, it's others as well. Just like you was just saying, Imani. Okay, we're talking about JD Vance as well. How dare him? He's disgusting. I can't believe how he acts and he operates, given, you know, his beautiful wife that he has. But what really sucks about all of this is that there is a push and a pull, right? Because on one aspect, especially when it comes to, and I have to just say it, I know people get tired of hearing it, but hey, it is what it is. We here, okay? When it comes to Black people, okay, we have been trying to scream to the top of our lungs for the longest time and tell y'all this is how it is. We wish it wasn't this way. We wish it was different, but this is how it is. And then y'all get fooled and y'all get pulled in by false promises because they want to use you, which we know what it we know, right, based off of our ancestors, what it means to be used, right? Our ancestors were used a lot. I mean, they were used so much, weren't they? I mean, if we're going to be real about it. So we know the facts in the history of how these people do. No, they don't like you. They tolerate you. And they tolerate you because typically they want to use you. And then once they use you up, they discard you. And once you're discarded, they don't give a ish about you. That is the way that it works when it comes to some of these people. And I'm not saying all, but I'm saying something. I'm saying that the foundational structure of what it is. That's how it moves and it operates. But it's always that one that's like, well, I'm different. It ain't going to happen to me. They ain't going to treat me like that. I'm too educated. I'm too qualified. I'm too butt kissing and boot licking to be able to be treated the same way that the likes of you people are treated. And then when you turn around and you get treated that way, who do you run to first? The same people that was trying to warn you before you took your square ass up in there, and giving these people chances and trusting them as if they really like you. And they care about you, and they don't. Where they at now? Where are they at now when you going through all of this? Do they got your back? Are they taking to Twitter to make statements in your behalf? They don't even remember you. They probably don't even know how to spell your name. And I don't mean that as a slight. I mean it as a truthful statement. Like, these people do not care. They don't care. And it takes some people just to learn the harder way, you know, the longer way. I took the long way. I took the harder way. Whatever. Harder way, longer way, something like that. I don't know, right? But anyway, like that. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you took the harder way. You did. And then now you done ended up on the outs. And it's just like, what you want us to do? You want us to feel bad. You want us to march for you, speak for you. You know, and it's not to say that we don't have your back and we don't feel no type of way about what you're going through, because we go through it. We know that's how it feels when you go through it. It hurts. It doesn't feel good. But you didn't care about none of that when you was over there rocking and rolling with Sleepy Don. You know what I mean? Like, you was like real down tight with him. And you didn't, you mean to tell me for not 1 second you didn't know what he was up to and what he was really about? You know what I mean? Like, keep it real on the twos. Like, you know what was going down. You overlooked it. You bypassed it because you thought you was what? The chosen one? That it wouldn't happen to you, everything else that happens to everybody else, it wasn't gonna happen to you. You were safe. That's what that's what be getting it for me. These people that think they about to be safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you think you got a safe little corner in your own little corner in your own little chair. You can be whatever you want to be. Well, yeah, that's the American dream, isn't it? That's what they sold us. That's what they told us. But do we find living our day-to-day lives? Is that really true? I mean, oh, you work so hard, put in all your hard work and effort, and you can be whatever you want to be, and you can go as far as you want to go. Child, never mind. Because see, when I say things, I know what I mean by it when I say it. But other people, they take it the wrong way, child. And then it ain't gonna look good. But you know me, I don't be scared. I'm not too fearful. But I'm just saying, like, tell that to like the Diddy's. Like, tell that to like the R. Kelly's, right? That you can be whatever you want to be. And that I'm not saying that as a nasty, dirty joke in any type of way, making fun or enlightening any of the terrible things that these people have done. But I'm just saying, when we're looking at race, right, when it comes to this country and greatness or reaching a certain type of level of success and wealth and so on and so forth, how does that typically end? You usually get left what? On the out, or I guess in a jail cell. Maybe one of those two places. You either exile or they lock you up. Like, what are we supposed to say here when we keep seeing history repeat itself? And then when we have these conversations, it's like, oh my God, don't say that. Oh my God, don't say this. Oh my God. Because why? It's offensive to who? Isn't it more offensive to the ones that it happens to? And not to say that the ones that it do happen to don't deserve what happens to them, because we know that if they're doing things that they're not supposed to do, when it comes to the legalities and the law, yeah, you got to go. You got to go. But in the grand scheme of things, when we see when other people of different races and stuff get into positions of some type of close to power of something like that, they can't let that slide. They can't let you be better than them. They can't let you do a better job than them or be in the positions that they feel as though they need to put their people in. So they find a way to get rid of you after they bleed you dry of all of your resources, right? So all of the swag, all of the juice, all of the intellect that you have to offer and bring to the table, they will bring you and sit you down and suck it up out of you and, allow you to believe like you're part of the team, part of the group. And then after they get all of that from you, they don't need you no more. And then they discard you. And then once you're discarded and things start happening to you and being said about you, they're not going to come to defend you because they don't really care about you. They never really did. Is that me being a negative Nancy? Y'all let me know. Am I a negative Nancy? I'm just saying, like, do we not continue to see history repeating itself? And, now when we watch it play out, it's like it's be a lot of Black people that be sitting back that then finally seeing how it go. We understand how it operates. And then when we see it playing out for other races and groups of people, we almost feel kind of scary for them because we like, oh, yeesh, only a matter of time. Now, is that me being negative or nasty? I don't mean to be negative or nasty. I'm just trying to be realistic because I feel like if we live in reality, we can avoid heartache, heartbreak in these type of situations. Because once you feel like, oh, this is my seat at the table, and I get to stay here because they really like me. They really, really like me, and they want me here. You really think that's the truth? Do you really think that's the truth? It's not. It's not. And I'm telling you now, before all of this stuff was swept up under the carpet and it was hidden real far deep down where nobody could find it. But what Trump did, I'll give him his props for that. He ripped that carpet back and he let us see that we ain't come too much further than where we've been. That this country and this world still sees and operates the same way when it comes to race. And we got people that been bootlicking and butt kissing, and they thought that they was different. And then when they realized that they're not, it really is a devastating day to watch when it all falls down. Isn't that something that Kanye was trying to tell us when it all falls down? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Go ahead, Reese.
Itself is a colossal problem. But when they did, they had to lock the replies. Must be both sides. It got to be both sides. You know, because the Democrats can't wait to attack the Ohio GOP account. That's what it is. Now, Vivek, did you lock your replies? You didn't? Oh, that didn't take long. There goes the anchor, baby. N thinks we don't know Ron Jeet is running his account now. You want to be racist against black people or Indians? Why you drop N's in the Panjeet post? Like what? You just wanted to be racist. You didn't need to be accurate at all. If Vivek wins, these will pop up all over Ohio. I can tell you this right now, they need one in Columbus. They need one in Columbus. I'm sick and tired of watching Ryan Day underperform. And then I go on Sunday and the field is littered with NFL talent that went to school under Ryan Day and lost 2-3 games. Unacceptable. And I know he got Beijing on that beard. I know he got Beijing on that beard. Ain't no way it'd been that lustrous black for this long. He think he can get away with it because he's white.
It's not, like, it's literally just not true. So Vivek, he's so triggered by the comments under his social media that his entire existence now is trying to like fight them and like beat the trolls in his comment section. And it's just like turning him into like an unhinged libtard. Charlie didn't think that. I don't think that. Most of the right doesn't think that. Why not just sell pharmaceuticals and cry on January 6th? Like, why do you have to pretend to be a Republican or role play Republican or become a Republican and then try to be a libtard on our side? I'm sorry, Vivek, but people don't like you because you're annoying and fake. And then they use any leverage they can to like make fun of you.
I can't tell you how profound you sound every time you say libtard. It really takes your argument to the next level with every single libtard. And for me to try and understand just exactly what that is, and I realize consistency and actual thorough critical thinking isn't your strength, but for me to try and understand what exactly a libtard would it be the kind of person like Vivek that was a businessman who finds his way into politics? Huh? Would it be a businessman who finds his way into politics on the right wing? Or would it be, how about this? How about a former Democrat who decided to shift their allegiances to suit their grasp at power? Would that be a libtard? Is that what a libtard? I need you to help me with that. Oh, they still going. Year of the Curry. How you gonna do Year of the Curry and you don't even put Steph on there? You know what I mean? The man was dropping 40 points. It's been late 30s. Come on. Always chimp. No, I don't get that one. There goes the 8-bit Vivek. They love those old graphics. I don't know what it is with the nose, and they love to do the old 8-bit Nintendo Vivek. I can tell you this, Vivek. I don't know who this move was supposed to endear you to, but it's definitely not working with the MAGAs. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, you're going to drop completely from using your social medias, and you're going to be completely inauthentic and let other people do it for you? I'm not sure that's going to work out. Especially in the conservative side, like that's not going to, people aren't going to be happy about that. And if he's complaining about slurs and crap like that online, that's going to go even worse for him. So I don't know. It sounds like Vivek is trying to make a bid to make me support his primary challenger at this point. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Yeah, that's weird because I mean, he actually is pretty savvy on social media. And
that's what I thought. What I thought. I mean, like, I thought he was really good with social media, and it appears that he is not doing very well with it. So I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be that,
I need help. I need help. Okay. So we got these men saying basically, and yes, I'm making my jokes and I'm poking my fun. I am a little bit, but I get it. Sometimes social media can be too much, and you have to take a mental health break or whatnot, especially when you are being targeted based off of your race, like your religious and spiritual beliefs, and all of those things, and you're finally starting to see, I don't know, maybe the world, the country, or maybe even just let's just say the country, but what it really is, right? Because, I can't say the world. I don't know if these people are global, that are saying these things to him. I would assume it's mostly Americans or, people from the United States that are, treating him this way and saying these type of things about him and his family, his wife, whatever. But when it comes to that, what should I say? What should I say in a perspective? Do you think that there is a difference when you are born and raised in this country and live here your whole life, opposed to if you're an immigrant who is being sold a sweet deal and you come here believing the things that you've been sold on, and then when you get here you realize that those things are not real? Do you think there is a difference between those two different types of individuals? I'm asking, and I really want to know, because I feel like people, especially if you are of a different nationality, if you are black, if you are Spanish, if you are, I don't know, maybe you're Asian, I don't know. I ain't gonna get into all of that. I think that, let's just say Native American, your African American, your Hispanic American, so on and so forth, But let's just start with like the solid ones. You know what I'm saying? If you are born and raised here and you see how this country operates and how it's ran, and you also not, born knowing these things, but because you have family that's here in this country and they teach you and tell you how things move and operate in this country, you have a little bit more of an inside view and understanding, of how you'll be treated, how things are going to go, how they operate, when it comes to the races of people. But when they start putting up, these advertisements or whatnot, when it's like, hey, come to this country. This is the best country in the world. Everybody live, is being better when they come here. All of your dreams come true. It's almost giving fairy godmother, right? That they're selling to people. And so if people do come as immigrants sometimes, which is welcome for me, I don't have no problem with that. I think that's great. I love that. But I think when you come and you don't know the precedence of the truth of how this country and individuals within this country see us, act towards us, treat us, operate with us, then you fall for the sale. You know what I mean? You fall for the advertisement. And then when you come and you realize for the first time maybe in your life, that wow, this is really how these people think and they treat you, and this is really how they feel about you, when all along we were trying to tell you though, but we were trying to tell you, but you didn't want to listen to us. You don't want to take our warning. You thought that we was lazy. You thought that we was bitter. You thought that we weren't putting our best foot forward, right? That's what you thought. And then you came and you did all of those things, right? You did all of those things. You weren't lazy. You weren't bitter. You were very optimistic. You put your best foot forward. You got your degrees. You worked your way up the ladder. You did all of those things. You did it all the right way. All the ways you said that probably we weren't doing it. as to why we were so bitter and complaining and having so much to say about how these people are and how they operate and how they treat you. And so you did it all the right way. And all for you to do it the right way and end up in the same predicament. Oh my God, isn't that a shame? You know? Do you know what I'm saying here? Like, do you agree with what I'm saying? Like, it's unfortunate because I feel in my heart, I don't ever want nobody to have to experience it. I don't want to experience it. I don't want my family members, my friends, my siblings, anybody, my cousins, whoever, my neighbors. I don't want nobody to experience that, to be treated that way. Like we're less than, you know, and be talked down to and not given the job, not given the opportunity, all of these things that, you know, we've been through, we know. But when y'all came, we tried to tell y'all, we tried to nestle up with y'all, let y'all know a little something. But y'all thought really that you had a better idea and a better plan on how to make it work than we did. Because you thought we was throwing our opportunity in the trash, right? We wasn't taking the opportunity the right way. We wasn't working it right. Okay, because we was lazy. And we wasn't, you know, doing our best. We wasn't, you know, going as hard as we could, education-wise, and, you know, all of these type of things. I've heard these things, and I'm saying these things because I've heard them. This is why I say it. I've heard this from immigrants. That's what they think about us. When they talk to their families, that's what they think about us. They don't talk very highly of us that are born and raised here in America. If we're Black, if we're Spanish, if we're islanders, if we're anything, if we're in this country, they don't understand. Why can't y'all get ahead? Why can't y'all do nothing? Why can't y'all get nothing? Why y'all still struggling the way y'all struggling? Y'all got the best opportunities in the world. Y'all live in the best country in the world. Why y'all down and out? We don't get it. Oh, it must be because you lazy, because you dumb, because you're not applying yourself. Yep. Yep. That's why. That's exactly why. So my question is, Rami, Swami, Vivek, or whatever, Vivek, however you say your name. Do you feel that way? Did you feel that way? And do you feel that way now? Like, because you did it all the right way, right? You did everything right. Immigrant, came over, got a better opportunity, got your education, climbed on up that ladder, got you a position, child. You made it to the White House. Sure did. You did that. And now what you're going through right now, you know, when it comes based off of your spiritual beliefs and your race. Do you feel the same way? Do you like, and I'm not saying that you ever came out of your mouth and said that, but I'm just saying like what do you feel in this moment? Like, and if you were to be an advocate for people of other races that was born and raised in this country that have had these complaints and have been screaming them to the top of their lungs for a long period of time, will you become an advocate for them? Do you understand now how it works and how it operates? Do you get what those people were trying to say and tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all cool in the game when you getting yours. But then now when you're not getting yours, now what? Huh? That's just be my only question. And it's not just him, it's others as well. Like, I'm really curious to know, like, y'all had a lot to say. Like, we was lazy, we stupid, we don't do nothing. We're wasting our time, we're wasting our energy. It's not to say that some of us in this country don't do that. I'm not saying that. But on the precedence, like the majority of us, that's not all of our story. That's not all of our experience. A lot of our stories and experience are the same as your story and experience right now. So do you feel for us to, like, will you be an advocate for that? Maybe is that how maybe you can make a comeback by being an advocate for, like, saying, yo, I've experienced now, and I know what it feel like. It's all cool in the gang until it ain't, right? It's all cool in the gang until it ain't. And a lot of us have felt and experienced that probably a lot. Well, I know for sure a lot sooner than you did. And a lot of us are a lot younger than you are. That's a shame. But yeah. You know, that be the problem that I be having. Like, anyway, but let Reese keep going.
As a candidate, I don't know. I mean, in today's world, I would think he would hold his accounts and just have a staffer post whatever he wants, because that's what Trump does, right? Like, Trump has his personal account, everybody knows that account, and he literally tells whoever to type whatever he says, and they do it. You know what I mean? So he's not like actually texting or tweeting
but that's
things.
because Trump is 1,000 years old, and Trump likes to read things like a dinosaur. I mean, like, you guys have heard this story, right? I've got a friend of mine who's like a caddy at the Trump golf course. Trump has a freaking like a train of fax machines following him around. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, he actually does. He drives around. He's got 4 golf courts with the fax machines, and people fax him shit when they want him to read it. Like, what? I mean, but he's 80 years old. I mean, that's just what he does. Like, he's Trump. He's one of the only people that can get away with shit like that. But like, he still posts everything on his own. Like, he's
okay. So let's be clear. Well, you telling me, I don't know who these people are. I don't. But y'all telling me that, and again, this is now me going into Vivek's defense a little bit. So you telling me the reason why Vivek is very uncomfortable and not able to maintain his social media platform is because he don't have people working for him that post for him, and take on PR status, so on and so forth. Because of the things that's being said about him, or however this social media is playing out. I mean, yes, to be fair, people say a lot of things about Trump. Lord knows I do, and will continue to. I guess people could deduce that, all right, well, maybe Vivek is too sensitive. We know Trump is not sensitive. Trump don't care. He don't care what people say about him at all. However, there's the difference between people, maybe making fun of your toupee, your body shape, you falling asleep at, press conferences and stuff, opposed to them talking about your religion and your identity based off of your race and your nationality, right? And so people don't take to the internet, or like Twitter and spaces and places like that, and talk about any of those things when it comes to Trump. They probably laugh at the fact that he tries to sell that he's a Christian, but he already told us, holding the Bible upside down, that he didn't care anything about spirituality or religion. Yet he's pushing that very heavily right now. So we call him out to be, a hypocrite, right? But it's different when somebody is talking about the actual beings of who you are. Like, if you are Hindu, or if you practice Hindu because you are a, possibly a Indian person or something of that nature, it's different when people are dragging you for that. But you let these people tell it, oh, you need to get a backbone, you need to get stronger. Yeah, okay, maybe people do need to get a backbone to get stronger. I can't be sure. But I'm telling you, ain't nobody ever come at Trump about none of those things at all. And I don't think any of those things matter to him. But if you're somebody who your religion matters to you, your heritage matters to you, your ethnicity matters to you, and you got people dragging for filth through the mud every single day because of those things, that's where I think the problem lies. A little bit different taking those type of hits, especially when you care. Trump don't care about nothing. What do he care about? He don't care about none of that. You see what I'm saying? But now it's do what Trump does. Get these people to run your social media. Yeah, but what people think about you, it takes beyond your social media. Because look how we seen when he showed up. And then people was talking crazy to him when he was doing a public show, when he showed up on a stage. And they were dragging him to his face on stage for those said things, his spiritual and religious beliefs, and his heritage and his race. Do you ever hear people giving that type of pushback to Trump? Do you? They ask Trump a lot of things. They do. A lot of questions that he can't answer. And they ask him to speak a lot of words that he cannot pronounce or spell. We know that. But do they ever like push up on him for his spiritual and religious beliefs or his heritage? I've never seen nobody coming at Trump when it comes to that. Those are things that are sacred. They're sacred to the heart. They're sacred to your identity. When people start dragging that and coming for that, especially when you have a spouse and children that are also equally under those spiritual beliefs and religious beliefs and heritage and nationality, you have to protect your family, not just yourself, but your family. What it look like you got your young children up here watching these shows or seeing these things on social media of people talking about them being Hindu. That's what they believe. That's what they practice. That's what matters to them. Yes, okay, there are some Indian or, I hate to say it because I can't be sure, but I believe it's like they're like Indian or something like that. That matters to them. That's part of their identity. People start taking cracks at that. Not just is the parent feeling a certain type of way. That parent got to worry about how their children is feeling. That parent got to worry about how their spouse is feeling. That parent got to worry about how their family members is feeling. Because that's where they come from. However, I do know that individuals like this, you did go up over there. You did go up over there with that man and put yourself in, the way of these attacks and stuff, and, wanting to be on this guy's side. Not that I'm saying it's fair or it's warranted. I'm not saying that. But for a small moment there, you put that to the side and you put other things to the front. And so you have to take the accountability for that. However, I don't think that's cool for people to be coming at people's religion, spiritualism, their race, their identity, and that's hard to wake up to every day and see on social media. I don't know how old his kids are. It look like they're kind of young at this point. I'm pretty sure his wife may see some of these things as well. And when his kids get older, they may look back and see some of these things as well. Family members of his probably seeing these things. That don't make them feel good, right? So that can affect people on a lot of different levels, not just for themselves, but for the ones that they love that's around them. However, you did kind of put your foot in that horse shit on your own. I'm going to just say that. Let's keep going.
One person that just does everything for him. I mean, this is Trump, though. Vivek is not 80, okay? Vivek doesn't have this problem. So I don't know what he's doing here. This doesn't sound like a good decision on Vivek's part. So,
okay. So just so I'm clear, the issue is that Vivek isn't dictating the posts when we know that Trump isn't writing his own posts. But you're assuming that these posts come from Trump when we hear him speak in person and he could barely stay awake long enough to listen to himself. Wait a minute. No, I got to call BS on that one. Do you think there is another single solitary mind, not just in the country, but in the world, who could come up with what we've seen on Truth Social? Exactly. Vivek Ramaswamy, too weak for X, too weak for Ohio. I can tell you who too weak for Ohio. Them kickers' legs they be trotting out. Anytime it's a big kick. Smells like bitch in here. I miss Odd Future.
I was 13 years old. I would inflate an inflatable pool and fill it up with Sherman, get butt naked and oil myself. Welcome to my life.
Which is it, Vivek? Should politicians engage with their voters on social media or not? Why are you really leaving X? I'm not going anywhere. Huh. That is a good point, Vivek. You just said if you can't engage, you don't belong in the arena. You just said that. And here we are just a month later. I can tell you, if you can't trust Vivek, who can you trust? I'm starting to wonder if maybe he did hear something bigoted in the state over the course of the year.
The right answer to misinformation, Brian, is not less speech. It is more speech. Every dictator through human history has had his or her excuse for why it is that they need to censor speech. But the road always ends in the same place. The right answer is actually free debate, open debate in the marketplace of ideas where the best ideas can win. That's the lesson we've learned time and again.
Well, Vivek, it looks like the answer isn't less social media. It is more social media. And certainly more replies. You're getting cooked in there. Honestly, I got lost.
Anti-Indian, anti-South Asian hate has exploded on social media and in the real world, and it's an interesting phenomenon to examine. I put this picture of Vivek Ramaswamy up. This is what he posted for Halloween, and Vivek was a presidential candidate, a Republican presidential candidate. He's born in Ohio. I believe both of his kids were born in Ohio. He put this cute picture up for Halloween. You could go over to X. I didn't want to put the comments in this post because they're horrible. And it's not just a couple of them. It's just a wall of hate comments underneath this. And he's running for governor. And some of them are predictable, but then some of them you sort the comments and you can see that even his liberal haters are engaging in racism as well, which is really disappointing. Just some quick statistics. Between 2023 and 2024, there was 100% increase in hate comments targeting South Asians online. And then it kept increasing with a peak in January of 2025, almost another 100% increase. The FBI hasn't disaggregated South Asians from Asians in the hate crime data, but everything spiked in 2021 and then came back down, but not back down to the 2019 levels. And what's sad about this is that most of this is just harassment on the street. So a lot of it goes unreported.
Okay, that was a whole lot to unpack. I'll be honest. He hit me wrong when he tried to both sides it again. I mean, let's do this. Let's do this because they intend, if anything came from anybody remotely interested in a progressive ideals, it becomes both sides. That's all you need is somebody to think something. They could do it all day. Let's do this. So how much would Trump win the region of Vivek's replies? How about that? How about that? Maybe he don't get 100% of the vote. What you think? What you think? You think he carrying Alabama levels of that Vivek reply vote? Or is it much higher than that? What do y'all think? And it'll be interesting if this whole idea, this whole anti-immigrant rhetoric had a name. Like if there was like a group of people that were really united behind the idea of attacking brown people, because you did say coordinated, right? If there was a whole group of people that were really united by just attacking brown people, if it was like America #1 or like First America, it's like something like that. If it was a group that just would announce themselves, then that would make it so easy. You know, that would make it so easy. This is my other issue with some of the individuals involved, namely Vivek, but also this gentleman, Dinesh D'Souza, because I did a video just a few weeks ago where Dinesh D'Souza said something similar about the rise in Indian hate and was talking about leaving the Republican Party if they didn't do something about the Indian hate. And yet he just turned around and posted this: diversity is our greatest strength.
It's so-called must be all this ice on my wrist. I am the captain now. Ayo, bitch, give me that tax money. On conduct the fair businesses. One day if you study hard enough, you can be just like me. Who cares? Send those taxes my way. I just bought another man.
Now help me with something, because one thing that I have not done in my repeated barbecuings of both Vivek Ramaswamy and Dinesh D'Souza is express any ill will or distaste towards Indians or South Asians myself. But apparently, according to Dinesh D'Souza, it's all good. There's no greater example of pick-me behavior than posting that while you're complaining about racist treatment from your own party. And here is where it becomes really laughable when it doesn't work, because Dinesh D'Souza getting cooked in his own replies. Hey, Grok, do you notice the irony here? Bro thinks he's on the team. Your family. Surprise, B, you're getting deported too. The irony in posting this is that every American sees your people the exact same way. This guy was crying about anti-Indian racism in the Republican Party last week. Dinesh D'Souza has long been one of the most horrible people in the conservative movement, but the greatest issue I have is he sits there and bemoans bigotry against Indians and acts shocked by where it came from. Now, if you're wondering how exactly that works when you try and pass on the racism that you're receiving to another group, or as we call it, pick me, do you know what everybody else sees? A group together. After getting exposed for being in bed with Somalian fraudsters, Vivek Ramaswamy is rage quitting social media. So now they're united. That's what MAGA did with that. Thanks for playing, Dinesh. The Somali Chamber of Commerce has endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy for governor of Ohio. Columbus has the second largest Somali population in America, where just last week a multi-million-dollar Somali daycare scam was uncovered. Oh, did somebody say coordinated? Somebody said coordinated. Kind of like the push to amplify the misinformation video, but not this one.
Well, they have concluded their investigation of the child cares that Nick Shirley posted about in his viral video that got child care funding across the United States suspended. Yes. And they found out that they were operating as expected, that there is no fraudulent activity happening at these child cares. 2 of the child cares that he mentioned in the video have actually been closed since 2022, and no funds have been going to those child cares since 2022. Yeah. They also released the amount of money that each child care has gotten in 2025 from the Child Care Assistance Program. Here you go. Here it is. Again, each one of these child cares is operating as expected. There's no fraudulent activity. This is the amount of money that they are receiving for the children that they care for. It seems like Nick is probably going to have some legal issues coming down the line for him, because in my opinion, it looks like he probably was fed some bad information and then he decided to state it as fact. So, yeah. I also hope when the new legislative session starts in February that there is an ethics hearing on the GOP, because this was insane and not okay, and they should be held accountable. So there's that.
It's both sides. It's both sides. That's what that is. It's both sides. That's what it's both, because as long as the people that push the misinformation was look both ways before they cross the street, they're both sides. in bed with the Somalis. To me, he represents a dangerous risk for Ohio and is someone who can never be trusted. No one should vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. No one. He's poison for Ohio. And we got, wow, the Somali Chamber of Commerce has endorsed Vivek, who clearly represents pro-immigration interests. I'm running for governor to represent Americans and Ohioans. Will Vivek condemn the multi-million-dollar Somali daycare scam exposed just last week in Ohio? Now, wait a minute. That's multiple posts from that gentleman who just said he's running for governor as well from Ohio. So let me get this straight. He's amplifying the America First xenophobic, dare I say, racist rhetoric against immigrants and pressing Ohio from the right flank. I've seen something like that similar. I just thought that's just like what Fishback is doing to Byron down in Florida. He's the Fishback.
There is a fork in the road. I told that to Vivek and he said, "What's a fork?" But look. It's weird. We're all wearing shoes. It's weird. We do that in our country. Exactly. We wear shoes. It would be weird if I showed up not wearing shoes, right?
Vivek, he cooked you from Florida. Like, he don't even have an interest. He don't even have an interest in that. He just cooked you because he could from Florida. Let me know when the Democrat running anywhere for state office alludes to you not having shoes on. Let me know when that. I would love to know, Vivek. I know you off social media, which is, I know that's going to be disappointing to some people. That's right. They had the sorority girls ready to cook you. They had the sorority girls ready to cook you, and you getting barbecued from Florida. That is a long range grill right there. So you definitely got to let me know when the Democrat running for state office talks about you not having shoes. Also, let me know when the sorority girls, the blue voting sorority girls, talk about they ready to cook you in the comments and whatnot. And apparently also, Vivek, they're not done on the right. They're not done. No. And, you know what? That might make it easier to identify exactly what side. The lost art of letter writing. In case you're wondering whether the abuse will continue in your absence, Vivek, the answer is yes. Well, Vivek, he used both sides of the paper. He did use both sides of the paper. So that's all you got left now at this point. Tell Ryan Day he need to focus on both sides of the ball. The offense putting up 30, 40 points all season, while the defense getting their act together. All of a sudden they world beaters, and y'all can't hit double digits. I am disgusted. Making me watch Indiana. Thank you guys so much for supporting the video. It's the end of another year we won't be able to explain to.
All right, y'all. So we finally made it to the end of the live. This one was a little bit longer than the previous ones, and I have been trying to keep them, pretty short, at about 2 hours or so. But we did go beyond that this evening. We went in. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. But I just wanted to play those in totality, the videos that I had to play for y'all, and the talking points, and of course, me talking takes up some time as well. And so I just wanted to give some of my thoughts and feelings, opinions on a lot of the stuff that's happening, and that we see and playing out. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's almost every day. It's several things, more than just these 3 topics or 4 topics that we covered today. A lot of the time, most days, it's more than that. But I don't want to do all of that and bring all of that to your, to make it too long and too boring, because it can be a lot to download and wrap your heads around. But let's just do a brief, before I end it, a brief summary of what all we talked about today. So we did talk about the tragedy in Minneapolis. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Minneapolis. The tragedy in Minneapolis with Nicole Good at the hands of ICE, right? Agents. It is still under investigation, and so we will continue to follow that and see, what is to be found. When it comes to investigation, for me, y'all know how I feel. I don't have a lot of hope. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to these certain things, I know that there's always cover-ups. I know that they can make it and present it to be what it was when it wasn't. And so I'm just not very trusting when it comes to those certain things. But what I will say is rest in peace to Nicole Good. And I do send my thoughts and my prayers out to her family, and especially her children, who are now left here on this earth without their mother to raise them and be there for them at the hands of a lot of this discord. And that is, I think, is the most important thing that we need to take, from these type of engagements and encounters that we're seeing being experienced more and more now. Then we have, the terrorist situation. Can it be reversed? And will that money be required to be paid back? I don't know, child, because, again, y'all probably think I'm a Debbie Downer, but I just watch how things play out, and it never plays out for the good. It always plays out for the bad. And these people always find some way to slither around and slip through in and out cracks and get, whatever it is that they see fit to be done, through. And we sit here and we watch it with like our popcorn on our couches and on watching our TVs and stuff like that. And it just always seems like no justice is really truly served. So when it comes to us as the consumers or whatnot, the tariffs really affect us the most, okay? Because prices are going to go up. And not only are prices going up, and I think I'll come back and do another video in a live for you guys, because I did see a really interesting report today that Walmart is jumping ship. Walmart does not want to work with the United States anymore. Walmart wants to go and work with another country. We don't know which one they've picked yet, but they don't want to work with the United States. So if anybody's an avid Walmart shopper or user like I am, that would be something I think that you should probably want to tune in on, and will probably affect you in a high way. Could it be better for you? Could it be worse for you? Well, we got to see, right? We got to see how that all pans out, because whatever. A lot of these different, regimes and stuff in these different countries and leaderships that want to take control over or have control, or businesses, in their pocket that they control and they run, it doesn't always mean that it's better for the consumer. It may be better for the business owner, but it may not be better for the consumer. And so I pay attention to that. I think that's an important thing. And so we'll see. We don't know how that's going to go, but we will stay on top of it. And then when it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy, if that's how you say it, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't mean any disrespect. All the things that I said, I don't take them back. I say them and I mean them. There are these individuals, these token individuals, that may not necessarily come from the same race that you come from, but maybe a different race. And they feel as though because maybe they're from that race, or they have a certain level of education and so on and so forth, that we are not living in a world, in a country that still looks at other races as the minority and that's beneath them. And whenever they see fit to treat you like such, they will. It's just, when is your day coming? And so does that sound like Debbie Downer? I don't know. Maybe it does. But can you not tell me that that has not played out time and time again over history? So, you know, I do feel for Vivek. I feel for his family and his children. However, he did make his decision, his partnership, and his bed. And so I guess this is just him lying in it. Do I think it's right? No, I don't. But I think a lot of these things that we go through sometimes, we can avoid going through them based off the decisions that we make. And he decided to make his decisions and form his alliances and feel as though picking one side or one individual and rocking up that mountain, that is a collapsing mountain, if you ask me. But, you know, he wanted to go that way, and now he's seeing the downfall of that. And he's also seeing the unprecedented truth of what it really is like to be in this country. And I think a lot of people understand that. Can you make it? Yeah, you can, but at what cost, right? That is my whole thing when I talk about stuff. And people say that I rip and I rant and I talk too much, but I'm telling you what I know to be true. You want to make it in this country. You want to feel like you're equal. You want to feel like you're qualified. You feel like you have some type of, you know, a hope and pride for yourself and the things that you do. What I know to be true is that these people are only using you. They're using you. Do they literally have a respect for you? Do they care about the ins and outs of the struggles and the things that you go through in your day-to-day life and your struggles going through things and, you know, being the race that you are living in this country? No, they don't. Because why would they? Why would they care now if they didn't care then? And if we have administration, especially right now, that always refers back to the 1800s and the 1900s, that's the main times where they really didn't care. They wanted to take your labor. They wanted to take your identity. They wanted to take all the things that you could offer and use it for their betterment. And what they give you in return, probably shillings. If you don't end up having to beg somebody for a meal at the soup kitchen. And people don't like that I talk like this, but I keep it real about what it is. And this is what we're about to return to if we keep this up. We allow this to continue to happen. And no, that doesn't make me a Debbie Downer. I have a lot of faith and a lot of hope in my heart that I know our God is going to turn this around because I believe in God. I believe in spirituality. And so I know that these people won't get away with this stuff for too long. But for as long as they can go and as long as they can do the things that they do, I know what they're thinking when they do it. I know what they're trying to do and how they go about doing it. And we are not fully tapping into and understanding how these people move and operate. We're still being fooled. And it really sucks to watch our people falling victim and being fooled to a lot of these things when we really know what the truth of the matter is. And how many cases, how many things now do we have to see playing out, not within just historical times, but in current age times, happening the same exact way for us to learn and understand what the motive in the movement is. I just don't think we should be that numb to what the truth is when it comes to these things. But maybe I've said too much. So let me go ahead and end this live. We're going to end it with a bop per usual. I'll be back with another one, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for your engagement and listening in and participating in the live. And I will talk to y'all on the next one. Everybody have a good night. Bye.
A roof above, a shelter from the storm, a gentle hand to keep your spirit warm, a plate of food, a mind that's free to learn. A simple piece, a righteous wage to earn. These are the needs, the bedrock and the base, the sacred ground of the whole human race. But the screaming and selling something cheap, while the real world babies cry themselves to sleep. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator is where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hate purposes and the loaded dice. We're human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. They're painting pictures twisted and real, teaching our children how they ought to feel. Their values in the label on your shoes, or the filtered life you desperately choose. They magnify the hate, they celebrate the greed, and plant a poison, a suffocating weed. We gotta reach our children, pull them from the glow, and show them a beauty that the media don't know. Yo, check the vision, the mission of the television, spitting division, a mental prison. Got the youth chasing likes, addicted to the feed, ignoring the hunger, the fundamental need. They building paper idols on a digital stage, putting our future daughters in a virtual cage. Now we gotta break the cycle, gotta cut the cord. The real word is powerful, mightier than the sword. So we teach them about their history, teach them about their grace, teach them about the power in every single face. We are human, blood and bone and soul, with a right to be loved, a right to be made whole. This is our story, this is our sacred song. In the eyes of the Creator is where we all belong. We are human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. Human, worth more than they can price, beyond the hateful whispers and the loaded dice. We will build a wall where every voice is heard and valued. And truth is not a whisper, but a mighty, thundering word. A word of justice, a word of peace, a promise that the fight will never cease. This ain't just a track, this a call to action. For every mother, father, every single fraction of the community holding it down on the ground. Time to get loud, make a revolutionary sound. Look your child in the eye, tell them that they matter. Tell them their spirit's something that no lie can shatter. Tell them knowledge is the weapon, love is the shield, and the truth is the harvest we gonna grow in this field. Yeah! Yes, we are. Teach the children, near and far. Let them know their sacred work for every single soul on this a right to live, a gift to get it.
Corinthians 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love.